so high. I'll go so high. Won't touch the ground. These strings and switch these wings before we
Rise and shine, people. I see you guys on. I'm just adjusting my YouTube camera as well. For those of you who are on YouTube, what's up? Peace, Nathaniel. I see you on YouTube. I'm on both today because I really got something I want to talk about. So, top of the AM to you guys. Rise and shine. Rise and shine, beautiful family. What's up, children? Glad to see you too. Peace, Joy. Peace, Jared. Peace, Eric. Peace, Wayman. Tiberius, what's up with you? Rise and shine to you guys. Yes, sir, Tazzy. Tazzy says I came a long way. I appreciate that. It's been a long time since I've been live on YouTube, man. I miss you guys. What's up, Melanated Greatness? I see you. Universal Self, I see you. Zia, what's going on? Guys, we're going to have an in-depth conversation today on how woke does not mean healed. So I hope as many of you as available as possible will join me so we can have this conversation. I really think that it's time. We really need to have this conversation because a lot of us are still mentally injured, mentally entrapped, and we don't even know it. So I want to actually have a conversation. A lot of us think because we don't contribute to religion anymore that just automatically fixed our brains, but it does not, family. We've been brainwashed on all angles, from all sides, right? So just because you don't believe in a religion or go to church or a mosque does not mean that you're mentally free, that you're not mentally sick still. So, and we know it because we see it. We see ourselves causing other problems, right? Even though we're woke, most of our problems from people that's in what we call the conscious community, are not a lot of your problems coming from the conscious community, right? We see this stuff still happening, and it's not just because you're a believer or nothing like that. We need to be healed, right? We need to actually deal with some of this stuff. So, and not subscribing to religion does not heal you, all right? So that's part of it. That's a step, right? But that's just a step, right? It's not the whole. You're not just in a religious cage and that's it, right? All right, so family, I'm just giving it some time for people to come on. So we're just listening to my song, Broken Wings right now. Of course, you can find that on iTunes. Peace, Janice. Peace, Denise. Peace to Maria. Peace, Terry. What's up with you? JD, what's up with you? Sly C. Comfort N, what's up with you? Nigeria. Wow. It's so beautiful. Comfort Iriri, if I'm saying that right. As all the way from Nigeria. I never thought, guys, that people would all across the world would just sit and listen to me talk. I never would have imagined that. So I'm always honored and humbled by that. Hey sis, I see you, Toya. Yes. I can't pronounce that name right there, but you're absolutely correct. Amina. Gotta reach for the stars like Inspector Gadget. Thank you, Malik. I appreciate that. That's my goal, is to inspire as many as I can, family. Blessings, Damien. Peace, Gene. Toya, I'm so happy for you. Your business and stuff is flourishing. You guys, if y'all ever out there, y'all need to go holler at Toya. Go to her page right now and see about her business here, her yoni steaming business, man. It's doing really well. And for all of you ladies who want to do that, take care of yourselves in that way, you need to go to Toya's page, man. For real, and go on out there and see her. I've heard nothing but good reviews, so. That's what's up, Sean. So he was just bumping this. That's what's up. All right, family, let's deal with it. Let's have this conversation, and more will come on as we go. So woke does not mean healed, or woke doesn't equal healed. Let's talk. Okay, so we kind of have this idea that when we walk away from religion, that all is well, right? Oh, it's my pleasure, Toya. Again, what's understood don't even need to be explained. It's all love. So yeah, man, we have this idea that when we walk away from religion or we put a belief or a thought pattern down, a frame of matrix down, that all of a sudden that life is just going to fix. But it doesn't, does it? Walking away from religion doesn't mean that your external life is going to get any better, right? In fact, for many of us, we can say it got a little harder, right? Because you're not going with the path of least resistance. In this Western world, the path of least resistance is to accept religion, right? And to accept the predominant religion. Well, you're not choosing to do that anymore, so now you're probably having conversations a lot, debates a lot, right? You find that it's not like it's just a walk in the park, walking away from religion. And then not just are you, going back and forth with different people that you love, family members, friends, people online, whatever, because we become these people who want to wake the world up. Because especially if you have empathy, like myself, many of us on here, when you've been believing in something and been captive for something for so long, whenever you realize that it's false, you want to wake other people up too. So it's kind of like we take on this burden ourselves, kind of like an act of sacrifice. Like we give up our own time, right? Because of course we put forth the energy to wake ourselves up, and that alone is hard already. And we remember that. We know how hard it was for us to even accept it, how rough it was the first time we heard it. Because come on, man, many of us, we didn't just hear all this stuff fake and then you just walk away. Like it takes more than that, right? Especially if you have really started investing yourself in your belief into that. You feel me? That's exactly what we do. So it's like we walk away from the belief, and we want to wake everybody else up. We want to unlock everybody else's chain as well. So we take on this new burden now. Now the family members who you've tried to wake up are now seeing you as an opposing person to what they believe in. So a lot of them ostracize us, treat us badly. A lot of us, we're not used to that. So that causes heartbreak. Just knowing that the people that you loved and care about dearly would say things to you like you're going to go to hell. You're an apostate. You're possessed. We weren't really prepared to hear that from people we love, but it's hard for us because we can't separate the two. We can't separate that loved one, that mother, that father, that sister, that brother, that auntie, that grandparent, right? That friend who's telling you you're going to burn in hell. We can't separate it from the love we have for them because we're thinking, why would you say that to me? That's hurtful, right? In their mind, though, they are talking to you according to their matrix. So from their perspective, they're not being mean to you. But from our perspective, we do feel hurt because it's like we're telling you this stuff isn't real. So you don't have to talk to me from that matrix anymore. I don't believe in it, but you're still using your matrix to talk to me. All of this stuff increases your pain. It takes you from that happy place. And we're going to talk about that. This is why we are not healed. We don't have time to really deal with us because we're so focused on dealing with everybody else. And that's, don't get me wrong, that comes from a pure place. It's not like, you're out of line or you're wrong for doing these things. If you're, just imagine we're chained up, right? And we're in some big prison, some big dungeon. Once you're out of the chain, at that moment, you feel like it's up to you to free others. You're not thinking I have to be out of the whole prison first or out of the whole dungeon, because how can you free them if you're outside of the dungeon? They're still in it. So now you'd have to risk going back in, not being discovered, and potentially getting locked back up again. So you would think that it's more reasonable, more logical if you're freed from the chains. You would think it's more logical to go ahead and start opening everybody else's cells, start picking everyone else's locks, right? We see this on movies. People have ropes tied behind them, right? Some people on the ground. If you somehow break loose, you don't just get up and run and leave your loved one still sitting here in the chair bound, right? No, you start to work with their ropes, right? And let them out, right? And regardless of how tight that knot is, you don't feel like it's right to leave them, right? And that's kind of where we are. We're still in the stuck in the bigger picture, but we're only free from the chain we were in, or one chain. You understand? Like we might have just got our legs free and our hands are still bound up, right? Or again, you may be free from the chains, but you're still in the prison. We're still in the dungeon. We're not even free. And yet we're trying to free our loved ones. To me, I think that speaks to us a lot about how much love we have in us, right? We understand that, hey, we're not free everywhere, right? Or we have to understand that we can't be thinking that just because we don't believe in something anymore. I mean, because you didn't believe in Santa Claus, you didn't believe in any other religion except for your own, and life still was hard. So you can't think letting go of one more belief is going to make your life easy, or that you don't have to do any work to free the rest of what's bound in here. So we still have to find our way out of the dungeon, and every door ain't going to be unlocked. You're not just going to be, just because you broke free from those chains, you're not going to be able to just walk straight out the dungeon or the prison. Believe me, there's guards, right, manning the doors. And if you can get lucky enough to hit one of them over the head and steal their keys, there's other guards. You still have to make it out. And then you got to understand that even once you get free from this prison, this dungeon, they're going to be looking for you, right, to bring you back. You're now wanted. You understand? Life isn't easy when you walk away from, these traps, these things that have been taught to us. The goal is that you stay that way, or you will become wanted. You understand? Like, you will become what they call a menace to society, because you no longer subscribe to these truths that they want you to believe. These truths that you would only believe if you don't do any research, right? Racism, religion, superiority, all of these type of concepts that we have, we don't research the facts behind them. So therefore we walk away with superiority complexes, because we're in a Western world. We walk away able to be racist, whether that's from one side or the other. And of course, we believe in certain religions without factual proof. That's just the part of it. Of course, the media is going to be feeding you information literally every day, and you don't know what's true from that stuff. So again, if we lived in a world where we didn't have access to all of this technology, many of us wouldn't even know who our president is. So you have to think, technology and being exposed to a lot of information also exposes us to a lot of misinformation. What that does is it keeps us mentally ill, confused. We don't know what's from what, man. We don't know if it was a school shooting over here. We don't know if Trump about to be impeached. We don't know if it's a tsunami over here in some land I wouldn't even know existed had I not had this technology. But now my insides is all tore up because I'm watching the news, seeing all this stuff. If you were to go back, take the world back a couple hundred thousand years, you're not going to see this type of stress, because honestly, you were just unaware. The more we become aware, the more we have the potential to stress out, right? Because now that you know about more stuff that you can't handle, or that you can't control, or that you can't fix. What we do is we neglect the most important part, which is yourself. I want you guys to understand something. Without you, there is no world. Without now, there is nothing. Without this moment right here, you've got nothing. This is all there is. I said yesterday, time is a construct. And once we realize that time is a man-made construct, only then maybe will we consider to reconsider given the idea that we call now, given that some expansion. Maybe now isn't a moment. Maybe now isn't the thinnest line on your clock, right? Maybe now isn't a tick. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's not now. Maybe now is forever. Maybe it's infinite. Maybe there is no past or no future. Maybe you're not a product of the past. Maybe you're a product of now. Maybe there is no future. Maybe there's only a now. What you do with that now is key to what you create. You understand? When you're stressed, whenever you put into a place to where you're wondering if Trump being impeached, if you're wondering what's going on Love and Hip Hop, you're probably not producing. You're probably not creating from your magical place, right? This puts you in a state of misery, which keeps you out of what I did a video yesterday, and I'm going to get into this, keeps you out of what we call heaven, and I'll explain all that to you. But again, I just want to talk about how we neglect self. Again, once you break yourself free from these chains, wouldn't you all feel like it'd be wrong to just walk out of the dungeon? Like, come on, guys, by show of thumbs up, by show of hearts, or you could just say yes. It would feel wrong to set yourself free, to wiggle yourself free, even if you understand that it's because you no longer allowed your muscles to be atrophied. What if the chains don't require keys? What if they just require struggle? What if they just require effort? Because that's what these chains require to be broken. There are no keys, family. We keep looking for the right thing to say, the right thing to do in order to wake our loved ones up. If they're not struggling, if there's no internal struggle, they are not going to give it up. You got to understand, I don't care who you are. You can tell your loved ones to get off the couch all day. Yeah, you're the person. Listen, you ever have a job, right? You see people get up and go to work because they don't want to be fired. They don't want points, right? But if they had their own job or their own business, they wouldn't do it. They have no inspiration that comes from within. Their world is still being guided from the outside. That's what the Matrix does. It takes you outside of yourself and you start looking for the things outside of you to get the job done. You got to show up to work because they told you what time to be there. And if you don't show up by that time, you can be fired, you can be suspended, you can be punished, right? You can be docked, right? So all these things can happen as a result of you not showing up on time. But if it was your own business, you'd likely sleep over. This is a proof of something. You're not truly free. You see what I'm saying? You have an idea of being free. So how do we break free from this? Struggle. Giving these things thought, even when they don't feel fun. It's not fun to think about this stuff. It's not fun to think about yourself as being entrapped or in a prison or brainwashed. That is not fun. But you have to be willing to do that type of work. So maybe it is wrong. It's wrong maybe to yourself for you to have to spend your time trying to get other people to struggle and they're not in a struggling position. Understand this. We're all in that dungeon, right? Well, let's take a big look at this picture because we're not talking about physical chains anymore. So when you're looking out of your eyes, maybe everyone doesn't see a dungeon. Maybe everyone doesn't see a prison. Now, while we all may be chained, some people may be chained up in a happy place. See, their religion, their belief system, the things they have in this matrix, maybe they don't want to challenge this matrix for whatever reason. They don't have any real need to break free from their chain. You see, they're happy in what they're doing. So yeah, I understand. We look at them and say, well, you go off to church and you give a man your money and it's not doing anything for you. That's because you're looking at it through the eyes of someone who's became conscious. They're not looking at it like it's doing nothing for them. When you say, hey, you give your money, you're not getting it back pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And people who identify as black are on the bottom of the social scale and economic scale, but they're the highest tithers. So if it were true that if you give, it'll be given back, shaken down, pressed together, and running over, would black people be on the bottom of the social scale, being that it is a fact that they are the highest tithers, right? No, they wouldn't. They would be at the top of the social scale because this book promises them that they'll never go broke as long as they're giving their money, i.e. you can't outgive God. Isn't that what it says? Well, obviously this isn't true when you look in the realm of reality. But what if your loved ones are not expecting it to be true in that way? Tangible money. What if they're expecting from their tithe to walk out of the church happy, feeling good? What if they're looking for an emotion? How many times whenever we were in religion, did we just feel a good feeling and we say, thank you, Jesus? Right? Did we not? We attributed that good feeling, that chill, to thank you, Jesus. Right? When that preacher started hooping and hollering, he said that one thing that you wanted to hear, or he just said something normal with a lot of passion behind his voice. Oh, he preaching today. Oh, I felt that, Pastor. That is, you learned that dopamine is your reward, not tangible money outside of yourself. A good feeling is what you're looking for. So the people that's chained up, they're not just chained up, they're also high on drugs that they're feeding themselves via dopamine. And what this does is it changes their perception. You ever hear of beer goggles, right? When you're drunk, that person in front of you looks better, right? Because you are intoxicated. It makes your situation appear better because you're intoxicated. So while you may be in chains and you recognize what's around you is a prison, no doubt about it, it is a dungeon. The person next to you, they see lilies. You understand? They see lilies, flowers, and honeybees. They're happy. So you're trying to shake them and make them struggle to leave a place in which they are absolutely happy. Sometimes you got to focus on yourself, and you're not so wrong for getting up and just leaving that dungeon. You understand? Sometimes you got to go back and find some more people who conscious, tell them where the dungeon is, and bring them back to get the people. You understand? I feel like this is why we're not healed. We woke up and just started trying to wake up the person next to us. And we still haven't even left the room we're in to see the real world and what it looks like. You just know you were in a dream state. And when you wake up and you see the person beside you still asleep, absolutely, we have to assume they're having the same dream. But what if they're not? What if your dream was a nightmare and theirs is heaven? Just what if they're having the best wet dream of their life and you dreaming you're being killed? And now you're trying to wake them up because your dream was bad. See, because it would have to take them a while to realize that it's a dream. We all wake up at different times. How many times have you had a dream that it felt so real, right? And then you started to realize in this dream, you start saying, wait a second, something ain't right. And as you begin to realize it's a dream, you notice you start becoming more conscious of the next world, the actual world in which you actually existing, the one that you're sleeping in. You start becoming even if the dream's not bad, you may even want to still have that dream. But once you start becoming conscious that it's a dream, you can't just keep dreaming. Well, for many of us, it's the same way. even if you're in, when I was in religion, it was a dream. It wasn't a bad dream. I didn't see it as a bad dream until I woke up from it. I didn't know I was being lied to. So telling me to put my money in a pot and God reward me, I didn't feel like that was a bad thing because at the time I thought it was real. You understand? When I was told to run around the church and God would bless me, I didn't see it as a bad thing. I didn't see how illogical that was to say that I could run around a church and be blessed, but these people can die in third world countries and never get anything. And God would bless me because I have the strength to run around a building that has a 501c. Like, that sounds ludicrous from the perspective that I sit now. But then I didn't give that any thought. You understand? So just because the dream is just because you realize you're in a dream doesn't mean that you get to stay in it. So even though I loved what I was doing, I loved what I believed in. Once I started realizing that it wasn't true, I had to wake up. I didn't have a choice. I didn't have to hate it to wake up. Sometimes you can be given too much information that you can no longer stand on that side that you once stood on. Someone said, Kevin, you chose to give up belief. No, I didn't. Here's what happened, actually. I learned too much. I learned so much that I could no longer fit my brain inside of that construct. I just can't fit my brain into Christianity. It's too large now. I remember being a child, I looked at the Bible and the belief of Christianity, and I thought it was so huge, right? I thought it was so huge that we could never understand what's in this book, that it's all the knowledge in the world put in. No, it's not. It's literally just a book. And if you haven't read books, of course you think this book that's about yay thick has every answer to the universe. No, it doesn't. The Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, Hindus have 5 of these books, and they're thicker than the Bible. And they even still struggling about what should be added to it. There's a whole lot more to the universe than what you can put in a book, family, right? So even when you're in your dream, doesn't it feel like it's a whole world inside that dream? Don't you feel like you can go anywhere? It's not like Grand Theft Auto or some of these games where you can these RPG games or whatever, where you could like open world games. You ever notice that like when you get to a point where you can't go anymore, it still appears to be scenery? There's actually no wall. Like on the Truman Show, when he got on the water and was sailing, he ran headfirst into a wall, like an actual wall that was painted like clouds. Well, in these in these games where it's real world, you don't have a wall. I mean, it can appear to be trees and everything still right there, but your character is going to be walking in the same spot. He can't go any further, even though the game misleads you to thinking that it's something out there. And you can be walking towards that area and then you realize, okay, I guess I've gone further than what the game will allow me to go. And sometimes it's just for right now, because once you accomplish or complete so many tasks in the area, then that area may open up. See, it could be a bridge you're trying to get over. But whenever you try to get over that bridge, it's not letting you walk. It's not showing you that there is no bridge, but it's showing you that you can go there. You can still see cars right there, but you can't go. It's almost like a glass screen, an invisible wall that keeps you from going. Well, once you, of course, complete a lot of the tasks, now you can walk past that bridge. Well, in your dreams, it's the same way. You feel like you can go anywhere. If you ever had a lucid dream, many of you probably started flying, right? Jumping high, going places you wish you could go, right? In your dream, you're not limited, but it's still in here. You understand? So in this world, we feel the same way, or in religion, we felt the same way, that it was this huge thing. But the more you begin to learn, the more you realize I can't stay here. The same way with that dream. The more you begin to realize you're dreaming, the more you begin to that it begins to crumble around you, and before you know it, your eyes open. And you can't go back there. You understand? That's what it's like for religion. When you learn so much, you can't believe. It's just impossible. It's like you guys with your grown selves trying to believe in Santa Claus again. There's no way you could do that. It's impossible. Like, now that Santa Claus don't come because you grown and you the one who gets your kids gifts. There's not a single parent in here who has woke up and walked to the tree and saw gifts from Santa Claus in which they didn't put there. Now, that'd be a funny trick for kids to play on parents. Hey, you've been messing with me all these years, right? You've been putting these gifts up under the tree telling me Santa Claus bringing them. Well, I got a trick for you, mama. We're going to buy a bunch of gifts, right? You told us Santa Claus wasn't real. Okay, we're going to trick you this time. We're going to all go out, buy a couple gifts, and while you're asleep, we're going to put them under the tree. And the next morning, when you tell us to wake up and open these gifts, we're going to see gifts that say from Santa Claus on it. You understand? And you ain't gonna know how they got there because we put our money together and put this under here. We're gonna play a prank on you, mama or daddy, and have you sitting here scratching your head like, how did the gifts get here? Right? Wouldn't that be neat to play with your parents in that way? And your parents will sit there and be like, wait a second, how did it get here? Like, because Santa Claus ain't real. Let them deal with that for a change, right? But the truth is, once I'm saying that as a joke, but the truth is, whenever you get to a point of understanding, you just cannot, shrink your brain into that belief system again. You know too much. The universe is far too large. The world is far too large. The physical world that we live in now is far too large for a man to go down everybody's chimney, in which they don't have chimneys. Some people don't even have houses. People have different walks of life. Some people don't even teach about this mythological Santa Claus, and so they don't get any gifts. They don't celebrate that day at all. There is no way on December 25th everybody's getting gifts when everybody don't even celebrate that day. Like that would be ridiculous, right? We can't be thinking that people in third world countries that wouldn't even know what a wrapped present is are getting wrapped presents, right? That's ridiculous. And so once you get older, you realize you can no longer subscribe to that belief. Now, when you were 3, when you were 5, when you were 7 and didn't have any idea of the world, of course you could do that, but you can't do that as an adult. But it also doesn't mean that you're healed. You understand? You may still expect gifts on a day because you were told that day was important. You may still be saying, happy birthday, baby Jesus, right? Just because you don't believe in Santa Claus anymore, it doesn't mean that you are totally free. So in which case, my point is, what we do when we finally wake up is we try to wake up the person next to us, but they may not be having a nightmare. They may not be realizing that they are having a dream. So sometimes you got to take care of you first and get you healed first. And I'm gonna give you guys an example. When you wake them up or attempt to wake them up, have you ever noticed they get mad? They don't like to be woke up out of their sleep. Maybe the light's too bright, right? They're not ready to hear this. They want you to leave them alone so they can turn back over and go to sleep. We watched The Matrix before, so I want you guys to all think about this. Quick quiz, all right? Quick quiz. Guys, I want you guys to imagine something with me. I saw someone tell someone to shut up. I want you guys to ignore them. I want you guys to really practice something for me. How to deal with negative energy. Imagine yourselves as having a light surrounding you, and it's a barrier for these people because you got to understand they're on my life. Right now, I could look for them and remove them, but that would slow me down. I'm trying to keep my train of thought, but that's kind of their point, is to distract. Don't allow them. Let their text message or let their comment just go right to the clouds, right? Just let it go right to the clouds. We're above that. We don't. Their word spells don't matter. It don't matter what they're saying, family. Let's focus on let's get healed, because that's our problem. We always worried about what somebody else got to say, so we stop often to respond to people when we should just be about our business. So I could actually go into religion and embarrass people and give with truth and give them stuff that may challenge them, but that's not what this live is about. This live is for y'all, and I am not going to stop to talk to a Christian. As much as I do love them, as much as I do love all believers, everybody, I don't care what you believe, and I love your humanity, right? I'm a humanitarian. I love everybody. While all of us may share different beliefs, I believe those beliefs are what keeps us separated. And this is a fact. They're using their belief to come separate us right now in this live. Don't worry about them. We've heard all the scriptures before. We've heard all the going to hell threats before. Let them talk, right? It's time for us to listen and grow. So let them talk. Maybe they'll hear something that's useful. Maybe they won't. If not, they can go into the next live and they can bother us on the next one, and maybe I will address them. But for now, let's deal with us, because that's what we're always doing, worried about them and not focusing on us. Let's get healed. So imagine there's a light around you, and the negative energy that they putting out is just deflecting. We don't even see it. We don't even hear it. We're above that, right? We're above spells, and that's all we can unfortunately do on here is type up spells. So don't succumb and be up under anybody's spell. You don't got to respond to them. You owe them nothing, okay? If anybody will respond, it'd be me. Hey, it is my live. I may feel some need to respond, but you shouldn't have to. You understand? Let them talk. If they're insulting, let them talk. They're going to bring their insecurities as well as their beliefs with them. If they're outside of themselves insulting me, it's telling you they're insecure about themselves. So if they want to come here and show themselves that mirror and show you themselves, let them do that. All they're doing is screaming, I'm insecure, the whole while they're insulting my person or my character. So just let them do it, family. So I'm going to get back to what I was saying. We remember the Matrix, right? So I'm going to give you guys a pop quiz. What was Neo's Matrix name? We know Neo means one, right? As it's the anagram for hang on. right? So we know neo means one, Neo, because it's the anagram if you switch the letters around for one, Neone, right? We know he's called Neo or the one, but what is his name outside of the matrix? Let's see if you guys can get that. Mr. Anderson, right? Mr. Anderson, right? What was his first name? Y'all remember? Did they say it? Give you guys a moment. His name wasn't important. They just called him Mr. Anderson, huh? That's not Neo, though, right? Now, I want you guys to think about this. Until someone says it, we're just going to keep it with Mr. Anderson, right? When Mr. Anderson walked away, right? When Mr. Anderson was woken up, his name was no longer Mr. Anderson, was it? He didn't keep that same name. That's showing you guys something we all might have missed. They called him by a different name inside of Nebuchadnezzar once he woke up, right? It was a different name. So your person, your character, who you believe you are, that should change when you wake up too. Because think about it, whoever you are in that dream, right? Thomas A. Anderson, absolutely. Thomas A. Anderson, right? Now, when he woke up, he became Neo, right? And he responded to that name. We wake up and still try to be our old character self. You can't be. You're not that person. That's also part of this matrix. Do you understand? Why did Neo's identity have to change? Why did they change his identity? Why did they take away Thomas A. Anderson and call him Neo or the one? Why is that? Neo essentially died in the world he was living in. See, whenever you wake up to a new reality, you die in the other one. That's the part we always leave out. You're supposed to. Otherwise, you're a ghost in your other reality, right? And you're not truly living in your new reality. And this is why many of us can't move forward to becoming who we need to be. Many of us are still stuck in that old reality, trying to prove to everybody we still that character. That's what I did. I woke up from religion. Everybody started hating me, and I started saying, I'm the same person. Love me. I'm still the nice person I was. I'm still the kind. They don't care. All they cared about was that I didn't believe in something. I'm looking for them to look at my old person and say, give that some credit, right? Take an account of the person I was before I stopped believing. Didn't I love y'all? Wasn't I sincere? Didn't I show y'all nothing but love and respect? God, I can't get that back just because I don't believe in something. It doesn't matter it don't matter if you're nice. You understand? Let that character die too. Go be who you need to be. You can't go back in the matrix, right? You can't, because you already know it's fake now. We already know that in the matrix, once you get freed, you cannot go back. You can't. A guy even tried it. He said the food don't taste the same. Like nothing's the same. I would rather go back, eat fake food, just because it's good to my senses. Isn't that what a lot of us would like to do? Eat that same food that we know is bad for us, but eat it with a blissful mindset as if it's not like we used to. But our consciousness is to evolve, so we know it's eating bad food, so we can't really enjoy it, even though it tastes good. We talk about this all the time. Chitterlings, right? Oh, that's pig dookie. Well, doesn't it taste good though if you've ever tried it? Your taste buds is exempt from right or wrong. Your taste buds are exempt from a dietary law. Like it doesn't know. So if you're eating food, right? If you're eating food and you're a Christian, it doesn't tell you, wait a second, God said don't do this. So you sit here eating pork and nothing in your being is saying, is screaming out to you, this is an abomination to God. He said, do not eat pork. Do not eat animals with cloven hooves that don't eat cud. This is what that is. You're eating an animal that shouldn't be eaten, right? When you're eating catfish. Wait, the Bible says eat animals that have fins and scales. Do catfish have scales? No. When you're eating crabs, you're not saying, well, it doesn't have fins or scales. Your taste buds are exempt from what's healthy for you. It's just we've been trained to eat whatever we're told to eat, right? You'd like to go back and be able to eat these things without it bothering you, right? And then obviously we know it's going to bother your body. Thanks for the donations on YouTube, guys. It means a lot. We would like to go back to where we can eat this food without it mentally bothering us. I remember my grandmother putting chitlins on my plate, and the only thing I was mad about is that she didn't put more. They were good. Like we ate every part of the pig, the tongue, the ears, like the feet, like, and I didn't think anything of it. By the time I was eating this food, I had been convinced that it was food. You understand? I was convinced it was food. I didn't know it was disgusting. Now would I eat it? No, I know too much. You understand? But I also know that if I close my eyes and put it in my mouth, it's likely going to taste good because I've been there. I know that it wasn't bad. You see what I'm saying? So, in a nutshell, this man's eating food now outside of the matrix, and food is bland because that's what happens when we start eating for health. We start realizing the food don't just dance in your mouth like it used to, right? Toya can tell you this. She knows how to make vegan food taste spectacular, right? But she had to learn that, right? She had to learn to be able to season her greens to where she don't season them with meat, but she seasoned them with other things, right? You should see her. She got it down to a science. You understand? So it's one of those things where the more you learn, the more you can actually bring flavor to your food again. But until then, hey, it is more bland considerably than the food you used to eat. Well, this man, he felt like he didn't want to deal with that. He wanted to go back to the matrix, but you can't go back. You can't. You know too much. So once you're freed, please understand, you just got to keep freeing yourself even further. Don't stay stagnated in this point, like real close to the cell, because you can't go back in it anyway. You understand? And just understand this. When you're trying to wake that person up beside you, please understand the potential for them to instantly become an agent right in front of your face is highly likely because you're talking to someone who's still plugged in. You unplugged. So no, you don't believe in religion, right? But they're still plugged in, which means they are a potential agent. Notice something. Any person that was plugged into that matrix could be taken over by an agent at any moment, couldn't they? Right now, if your phone was to go off, right, and you're driving in your car, the radio was to go off, and it was to say Amber Alert, right? We're looking for this man. He's driving if you listen to the radio, he's driving a red Hyundai. Tag number says this, right? He has abducted several little girls, right? And he's hurt them. He's armed and dangerous. If you see this man, call this number, right? Now, if you're on the phone, it shows you a picture of this man. It shows you a picture of the car. So now everyone has either a mental image or an actual a visual image of this person. And you heard this all of a sudden, your government telling you that this person is wanted for doing these horrible crimes, and to call them if you see him, he is armed and dangerous. Let's say you see that person. What are you going to do? Call the police. Now, they could be lying. That person could have the cure to cancer. You understand? That person could have found something that is detrimental to their system, and they're trying to catch him. But because you're plugged into the matrix, you have a cell phone in your hand, you listen to the radio, and you trust the waves that come through it, you're going to turn into an agent when you see that person. Soon as you see that person who is factually innocent, what you're going to think of is the spell they told you. There goes that red Hyundai. There goes that same tag. Oh, that's the person. He's armed and dangerous. You're going to turn right into an agent and pick up the phone and start calling the police, or try to pursue him yourself, right? This is what people did in the Matrix. Of course, they're plugged into the Matrix. They don't need it to be a fact that you're dangerous. All they need to do is just be told that you're dangerous. Have you noticed when they do this, they don't give you proof. They don't feel that they even have to. All they have to do is tell you this person's wanted. They don't have to prove to you why. You're going to believe them, and you're going to instantly become an agent for them. You're going to begin to work for them. If you see that person out, you're going to call the police. You're going to help them. That's what you're going to do, because you're trained to trust your government. You understand? You are the agent. You are Agent Smith. Every matrix that you're still plugged in, you have the potential of becoming Agent Smith, the very person that's trying to keep everybody else locked into the matrix. And you will risk those people's lives to keep people locked into the matrix, right? When Agent Smith becomes someone and he fights Neo, that person is at risk of dying. And notice whenever they kill them, Agent Smith's image leaves that person. And now you see that homeless person who's sitting there, they were being used by a frame of thought. Agent Smith is everywhere, right? This is why it's not wise to go around trying to wake everybody up, because as soon as you walk up to that person and start saying, hey, this world is fake. You know what we're being taught? It's not really real. It's only agreed upon socially. that person instantly, what you just say? No, Jesus is my Lord and Savior. You're going to go to hell. Oh, what you say? No, Allah is this. You're going to go to hell. What you say? No, it's Krishna. No, it's Buddha. No, it's Zeus. It's whatever of course, it's whatever you've been taught. It can't be what I'm saying. It can't be that all this stuff is a hoax. It's got to be that only one of them is real and all of them fake. According to, if you have a religion, your idea is that they're all fake except for yours. You have the one right with the one true one, and everyone else is false. I sound like a ludicrous person by saying it's all false. Who sounds crazy here? You believe in the one you was born in is right and everybody else is false, or me saying none of them are accurate actually? None of their gods speak. None of their literature was magically put there, as it was all put there by human beings. Who's to say that, where are we getting it from to believe that something outside of us was inspiring what we wrote, when everything we write is what we write? You don't get to go past what we write and say someone else inspired it. All I see is you, bruh. All I see is you. You can tell me God inspired it. You can tell me magical fairies inspired it. All I see is you. From everything you're asserting could just be in your head. I have no reason to believe that unless you can prove it to me in some way, and that is yet to be proven. But yet we still stand on these ideas that what we've been taught to believe in is true, even though it's man-made just like the rest. I ask all the time, how can you demonstrate how yours is more true than someone else's? And instantly you hear crickets, right? And what does that person do? They don't just say, well, agree to disagree, I understand your stance. No, it's you're going to hell for not believing in what I believe in. They become agents, and they don't want you to leave. Notice they try to kill you before you make it back to the phone, right? They try to kill you before you make it back to wherever you need to get back to Nebuchadnezzar, which represents a place of freedom, right? Meanwhile, we're upset at that person who turned into an agent. While they're that agent, they're not responsible for that agent. That agent shows up simply because it's a frame of their mind. You've just now came against something that they truly believed in. What do you expect these people to do? Just listen? No. Their whole life they've been taught and romanticizing this idea that one day some antichrist is going to rise up and tell them this stuff isn't real. So whenever you telling them it isn't real, it's not that they say, okay, he has a point. No, they take it to their literature. Just think, man, like if we did the same thing with other literature, it'd be the same way. It's hard to disprove it when they're taught one day people are going to stop believing in it. Or they feel like this is just the Bible fulfilling itself. Hey, people said that one day there's gonna be a great fall away. So that's what this is. And they're using the literature, the narrative, to still say I believe in it when you still haven't measured it against reality. Of course, it would say people are not gonna believe in it one day. Of course, because obviously you can't keep people bound to something that is fake for too long. Of course, man will do their part to convince themselves after you have them convinced. But it can only go so far. So you would know at some point people are not going to be into this as much as they are now. You see what I'm saying? Especially when you predict in the age of information, people having access to information that you didn't make them privy to because you only gave them Bibles or Qurans if you're enslaved in Islam. You see, like you don't have all information, you have their information, and we believe the realities in which we're given. If you're imprisoned in Islam. Like many people were for like 1,500 years, what are you supposed to believe if that's all the information you have access to? You're going to be wearing a burqa or a hijab. Like, that's just what's going to happen. You can say what you want, but if you're taught something since you're a child, you're likely going to grow up and do exactly what you see everyone else do without thinking of how illogical it sounds. You're going to have on that burqa or that hijab, and it's not going to cross your mind that these are both man-made articles of clothing, and why would a God require you to wear them? That's not going to cross your mind. You're just going to think that it's being modest to Allah for wearing it. Right? It won't cross your mind that if God is going to dictate how you should dress, then maybe he should be the one making the clothes. You can't wait until man comes out with an article of clothing and say, okay, that's what I want all women wearing. You can't wait until someone creates shoes and say, okay, no open-toed shoes. What do you mean? What do you think women wore back in the Bible when Jesus was supposed to be Jesus? You think they wore full shoes? They didn't have them. You think they wore tennis shoes with them tied up, boots? You think they had that back then? No, everybody wore open-toed shoes and everybody wore dresses. But now all of a sudden it's like, wow, you can't wear these things, right? Or everyone wore dresses, but now women can't wear pants. But Why would a God care what you wear on man-made articles of clothing? And you subject yourself to this type of foolishness and go out and live like this. And again, when you go to them and say, you know, you don't have to dress like this is man-made stuff to keep you as a woman bound. If they can keep you, listen, if I can keep you wearing a hijab to show modesty to Allah, I can keep you looking at your body as if it's sexual, right? Not that you have a body in which, of course, sex happens, but your body is not a sexual object. But this is what we do, and we do this in many cultures. We subject women to looking at themselves like they're sexual objects. If your shorts don't come past your fingertips, then you can't wear them, right? If they fit too tight, you can't wear them. If your dress is too short, you can't wear it. You got to cover your whole body if you're in this religion. You got to cover your head if you're in this one. And all these things are being told to you. Meanwhile, you're not realizing why you're so easily captivated by these spells. If you dress up like Superman every day, you might eventually believe that you can fly. You understand? If you're dressed in a burqa or a hijab or whatever you call those nun outfits where you're covering your whole body, if you're doing these things by routine every single day, you might actually begin to start believing in that stuff. So we have to get to a point where we start realizing, hey, what's real, what's fake? And when you realize what's fake, begin to heal yourself before you start waking other people up. And not to say don't wake other people up. Still do that, but you can't do that without knowing that there's a risk that they may be an agent. You understand that an agent is now going to be familiar with you. Your name is going to be in their head. They're not going to let it go. They're probably going to tell all their other loved ones. Guess what Kevin just called me saying? This dude don't believe in Jesus no more. Guess what Latoya? Guess what Nalimar? Guess what Charles called me saying? Right? Guess what he came to me saying? Now, all of a sudden, before you can even go to your other family members, they're taught to not even listen to you. You already a crazy man as soon as you get off the phone with that one person. You understand? Because they're going to go spread that word. And everybody else hearing it from their side, they're going to see you as an agent. They're not going to say, well, maybe we should hear him out about their beliefs. Man, heck no. Especially if they deep in it, if they're still currently going to church every Sunday, telling the preacher, oh, you preaching today, Pastor. Oh, go ahead, Doc. You got this, right? Or run around the church, stretching their hands forward. It's probably not the time to wake them up. They're too deep in it. I'm telling you, it's like a lot of us woke up because we were already questioning. Many of you say, man, your video came at the right time, Kevin. I was feeling alone. I was feeling like, nobody else thought like me, right? But I was questioning this stuff. And when your video came, it was right on time. And then some people see the video and be like, that's an apostate. Well, I'm telling you, these are the ones who go to church every single Sunday, contribute to the service, running around the streets, running around the church, jumping up, shouting, speaking in tongues. You're not going to go to these people saying that this stuff isn't real. You understand? They're too invested to the point to where they're faking it now. You understand? People have to kind of already be ready to wake up. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't set your alarm to go off at 2:00 in the morning, right? you know that you're just gonna be getting into your REM sleep. That's what these people are. They right in the heat of their dream. Probably too early to wake them up. Like, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to wake them up when they feel like they falling. How we felt in religion. Like, I'm trying to grasp onto anything that makes sense, and nothing's making sense. And everything you grab onto breaks, and you continue to fall because you're looking to make sense of the religion you believe in. And you realize that you can't find any solid ground. Because when you reach out and say, well, what about Adam and Eve, right? Well, dang, the age of them, they're not even old enough to have given birth to all these children. The color that they depict them, there's no way that they got all of these different cultures of people from those people. It just don't make any sense that they covered themselves with a leaf after they woke up, after they became conscious that they were naked. It doesn't make any sense that God would now kill an animal just to clothe them when he made them naked and it wasn't a problem before. It doesn't make any sense that he put the tree right in the garden, then put them in the garden, then allowed the serpent to come right into the garden. It sounds like he meant to do this. It sounds like he set this whole thing up. Like nothing begins to make sense anymore. The same God that says do not murder is now saying murder. Kill all the Amalekites, but he just said don't kill. Kill your brothers and sisters until the death toll is 3,000, but you just said don't kill. Well, they're not thinking like that. They're still thinking out of context, right? They're still thinking that you can't just read the Bible and just read it like it is. You got to pray. You got to get a concordance. You got to pray first and ask the Lord to reveal. They are to the point to where you still ain't reading it right. That's their matrix is you're not. They're so far from accepting that this stuff could be false. It's just that you're not reading it right. They rather put the blame on you. But it can't be just that I'm not reading it right. You've never read probably the book that you're saying you believe in, and you definitely have never read nobody else's book. So it's not that you're not reading theirs right, which makes you believe in your belief. You're not reading theirs at all. So telling me how often I read yours is a fallacy when you haven't read anyone else's, and you likely aren't even reading yours right. So if you're not reading yours right, and you came to the conclusion that it was real, and I'm not reading yours right, and I came to the conclusion that it wasn't, we're still at a standstill. Can you read this word and break it all the way down to me? You're telling me I'm not reading it right. Can you now translate these scriptures for me? Well, no, because exactly. But you believe in it. So why can't I believe in it and I ain't reading it right? Why does me not reading it right make me not believe in it, but you not reading it right keep you believing in it? So that's just an excuse you're making up, right? All the while you're talking to an agent. You don't see them big ass shades they got on. They can't see you. They can't see the light. Their whole intention is that they can't see the light. That's why they got them big ass shades on. Everything is symbology, guys. Notice when the agent turns, as soon as they turn into the agent, they block the sun. They have no need in seeing the light. And then when you go to the real world of Nebuchadnezzar, what is blocked? The sun. You're surrounded by nothing but darkness. Because even when you wake up into the land of the woke, you still realize you're surrounded by nothing but lies and propaganda. And this further keeps you stressed out. And what does it do? Cloud your mind, cloud your judgment, because you don't know what's what now. That's exactly what it's like on the ship of Nebuchadnezzar. So how is it that we become healed? Which brings me to my next subject. In religion, we have a heaven and a hell, right? These places are seen as a place of riches, mansions, streets of gold, pearly gates, but intuitively, it is a place of peace, right? Bliss, happiness. Well, what is hell? The opposite. It is a place of torment, torture, fire, brimstone, right? Now, these are concepts that come from conscious concepts, but then are taken and put into religious concepts. So let's just look at it from the religious standpoint, right? They are real places that you go, but only when you die, right? You don't have any proof that these places exist, and you have to die to see one of them, right? And going to them is based on pretty much how you believe, right? Or if you die in sin. So what is sin? If you're reading the Bible, sin is anything that offends or that is disobedient to God. If I ask the people, what is sin? Someone might say murder. Well, murder isn't a sin. That's right. Murder is not a sin. If the Bible's God tells you to kill someone and you don't do it, now not murdering someone is a sin. So murder is only a sin if God says don't murder. But if God tells you to murder, which he's been attributed for doing this in the Bible several times, and you do not murder, you can still be in trouble. You understand? Not having sex with your brother's wife and not, ejaculating inside of her. That can be a sin to God if he told you to do it. Right? So it's anything that's disobedient to this God. So that's a religious standpoint. But let's take it from and put it in a more conscious standpoint. Heaven and hell aren't places that you go when you die, but they are rather states of the mind or conditions of the mind. So if heaven is a place of bliss or peace, how do you get there? How do you spend your life in this place if heaven is a state of the mind? How do you spend your life in hell if it's also a state of the mind, a place of torment, torture, guilt, anger, right? Hostility, pain, hurt. These places exist in the mind. So how do you get to heaven? How do you get to hell? Well, who's the God of this conscious heaven or hell? You'd have to be that because you hold them both, as the Bible's God holds both in his hands, or is attributed for creating both in the Bible, right? You actually have both of these places in your head now. So you have to ask yourself, why do I keep putting my spirit man, my intellect, in heaven or hell? Why do I keep doing that? And the reason is the lifestyle that you live in. So let's just say there is no such thing as sin because there is no higher power that gave us a rule book. But we're going to say metaphorically, sin is that which keeps you from heaven. Just like in the Bible, in religion, sin is what keeps you from heaven, right? So what would be sin to a conscious person? Okay, so I did a small video on this yesterday talking about it. So let's just start there. Saying to a conscious person, number one, is not taking care of yourself, not watching your diet. You understand? Not having any self-control over what you put in your body, either through your eyes, right, your ears, or your mouth. If you just watch whatever you want, whenever you want, listen to whatever you want, whenever you want, eat whatever you want, whenever you want, it's going to be hard to stay healthy. The whole goal is that we are healthy mind, body, and soul, or physically, mentally, and what we call spiritually. Emotionally is what we equate to spiritually, right? We can feel our emotions, yet you can't see them. So we say that they come from a spiritual place, right? Spirit. So your emotions are not in a good place because you're sick from overeating, from overindulging, from over listening to music you shouldn't listen to, listening to media you shouldn't listen to. Your whole being is messed up now and confused because you listen and you dialed into all this other stuff. You too plugged in. So now you're unhappy and it's hard to be peaceful because you just got finished watching the news. Trump pissed you off and you wouldn't even know who Trump was if you weren't plugged into this matrix. Him being in that seat has done nothing for your direct life where you can walk outside and tell Trump is president. You can't, right? But because you got finished watching CNN this morning, somebody need to impeach that man. I'm telling you. Now you're out of your heaven. You're out of your state of bliss. See? Sometimes we got to control what we put in our bodies. That's not just food now. But if you are running to the refrigerator at 2 o'clock in the morning because you're sleepy, not hungry, that could result in you actually damaging your body. Let your body guide you. If your body says eat, eat. If it says don't eat, don't eat. Don't force yourself. Like, stop trying to control your body. Like, start respecting your body and watch your body start rewarding you. You understand? Notice your body rewards you when you start respecting it. If you start saying, okay, body, I'm going to put it within you the right calorie intake. I'm going to stop over giving you. I'm going to stop throwing too many pieces of wood on the fire because if I should throw kindling on the fire, like small pieces of wood so the fire can build up. I can't build a small fire and throw a big log on it. It'll kill the fire. So body, when I'm eating this huge meal, first thing in the morning, pancakes, all this stuff, right? I don't want to potentially kill my fire because now all I want to do is go back in the room and lay down and go to sleep. And I'm not going to be inspired to create today because I ruined it this morning with my first meal. You just put a whole log on your fire and you're wondering why your metabolism can't burn it off. You can't, you have to build it up. But we don't think like that. You're not taught how to understand your bodies. You just taught what food is. They give you a food pyramid and they tell you that this is bread, this is milk, this is dairy, this is meat. They don't tell you how to eat. You understand? In fact, they show you on TV, you eating eggs, right? Bacon, right? These things is what they show you. But we know that it's not in your best interest, right? To eat this. When I say interest, I'm literally talking about the way we talk about money. Interest means it gains value, right? It gains potential. If you put money in the bank and it's gaining interest, it's becoming larger, right? It's becoming bigger, right? You can do more with it. You have an interest as well, right? Your interest is considered your potential, right? Your life force, your character, the things that you can expand in this world, right? So now it's not in your best interest to eat these things because now you'll likely not grow today. You'll likely not gain potential today or get closer to your dream, your goal today. Because you killed your metabolism, killed your inspiration by putting too much food in your body, bad food, now you just want to go to sleep. See, and I'm not just talking about food now, because yeah, Kevin is talking about how we eat. Nah. I'm talking about even wake and bake. Now, you know, I love to smoke, right? I love to smoke. It takes me to a different place cognitively, and it also helps my stomach. Stomach pains. I started smoking weed whenever I started getting really bad headaches and things of that nature, and stomach pains. I found that it's a medicine. But how many of you understand that you can wake up in the morning, do your little wake and bake, and that can even kill your day if you're not mentally prepared. So for you, maybe you shouldn't technically do wake and bake. You understand? It's not that it's bad for everyone. It could be bad for you though. And if it's keeping you from your state of bliss, because yeah, it may put you in an immediate state of bliss, like, yeah, I'm good. But deep down, you know your life is not in order. And you also know that you're not doing anything right now to fix that. So yeah, this temporary high that you have, once it goes, you're still stuck with what you stuck with, reality. So you're gonna have to put that down, and work on a solid plan to fix your life. And you can't do that if you're watching CNN on Facebook, judging me for how I'm living, how many pictures I post, right? What I'm not doing in the community. You focusing on all the things that I'm not. Meanwhile, you ain't that either. But you're saying out loud, Kevin isn't that. Are you? Like, how can you judge me for something you're not? Isn't that weird for a caterpillar to tell another caterpillar that it's not a butterfly? Are you? Where are your wings? You cannot be in a state of bliss in heaven at the same time looking down on someone else, judging somebody else for who they are. In order to reside in this place, you got to let go of earth. You got to let go of everybody who's right there. This is what heaven is in religion. In order for you to go to heaven, you must first die. In order for you to go to heaven here, you got to die. If your character man is still alive, judging everybody else for how they are, you ain't changed a bit. You still gossiping, lying, and cheating. How can you go to this place? Brings me to my next subject. I just talked about diet and what you put in your body. I went from food to even things like alcohol to marijuana to TV, right? All these things can cloud you, confuse you, and keep you from your potential. This is why we're still not healed, because the first thing we do is wake up in the morning and argue with people on Facebook. I'm telling you guys, I'm not saying there's not a time for that. Facebook is a tool, so absolutely keep posting. I love to see it. But I love to see people who got wake of my videos and my information, and guess what they're doing now? Making their own videos, starting businesses, right? Doing things from things they were literally inspired by me to do. Some of them moving further along than I am. You see what I'm saying? Because I was still stuck arguing with people. And while they said, hey, I can take what he's doing podcasts, speaking his truth, I can do that now. And guess what they did? Did it. Meanwhile, I'm struggling with finances, having to shut my show down for a while, but guess what they're doing? They go to work. They're not struggling in their finances. They don't have to shut their show down. So now they go live way more than me. They're building their clients. They're building their people that listen to their social rhetoric. And I'm not. Meanwhile, I'm not even going live today. Because why? Either my internet ain't working or I'm depressed. Because my life ain't together. So I'm in a state of not being creative. I'm in a state of not putting my treasure out there because, and the treasure comes from heaven, right? Heaven is a place filled with treasure. And when you're happy, you have more access to that. You're able to give the world your creativity. When you're depressed in a deep rest, right? How can you be performing? You sleep, right? You want to be away from everybody because you're a deep rest. You don't want to be bothered when you're in a deep rest, right? You want to be alone. When you're depressed, you don't want to go out and tap dance and show your skills off in front of the world. You want to go somewhere and cry and be by yourself and think. So while I'm in this place of depression, right? Now I'm not in heaven. So I'm putting myself in hell because my reality don't look like I want it to look. And because I'm putting myself in hell, meanwhile, people are still being inspired by the positive information I put out there, but my own life isn't healed. Now I'm healing all these people, but my own life isn't healed. I had to learn this the hard way. So believe me, you're talking to somebody who's not afraid to say, hey, man, I've been through it, right? I've been through it. So again, what you don't control in terms of your body, eating at any time of the day, like not listening to your body. In fact, if your body even tell you to use the bathroom, go use the bathroom. Not even just what you put in your body, what comes out of your body. If your body tells you to speak, you ever have somebody around you and they're saying things to you and it's not making you happy and you don't say nothing, but everything in you is saying, defend yourself, and you don't, right? You can feel your claws wanting to come out. Because I'm telling you, like no cat says, go inspect the gadget claws. They just come out. You understand? They just come out. You know, I said this before, no chameleon steps on a branch and says, okay, let me look up under me. I see this branch has blue, red. I see this stone has red, green. I'm going to turn these colors in my body. No, it's their biological meat suit that does this. It's separate from their mind. They're not consciously saying, I'm going to turn red because I'm on something red. Their bodies just do it. You understand? But it's because they respect their bodies. If their diets was off, the body doesn't respond so quick. You ever notice that? This is why you have clogged arteries. right? When we have sickle cell, we have diabetes because your body stops responding. Your body stops breaking down things like it would normally break things down. You notice with your car, if you don't put oil in it, if you don't put gas in your car, if you don't take care of your car, isn't it gonna stop performing the way it would? And won't that cause other things to go bad as well? Because you're not taking care of it, and all this is going to hurt the drive of your car. Before you know it, it ain't even going to be workable. It's no longer even going to get you to your destination, and that's what happens with your body. So let's move past diet and controlling the aspects of the things that come into your body. Let's talk about things that you do. My next one, allowing people to treat you badly. This would be, let's call that a sin, because allowing people to treat you badly keeps you from your state of peace. Me personally, I stopped posting pictures on one of my pages because it seemed like when I would post a picture, I'd always get somebody to be like, hey, you vain. I know that that's their observance of me. I never said I was vain. I never said, look at my biceps, look at my triceps, look at my face. Never. But if they see my photo and from that's what they get, I feel like, why not just stop putting pictures? Sometimes I don't feel like I have to say, oh, you know what, do it my way or not. You're on my page. I feel like sometimes, if I truly care about my mission and it being received, then maybe I don't have to put a picture with it. Because what's more important is that you get the message, right? But here's the problem. The people who say, all you doing is showing yourself. What they don't realize is that is just an image of me. You're looking at a photo. That's not me. I am not my image. I am my mind. So I'm the caption. The image of me is the picture. And you're mad at the image of me. I'm not the image, and I'm fully aware I'm not the image. So believe me, I'm not vain because I don't believe that's me. I don't believe that's me. I am my mind. I exist here. I have no control over this. My mama, and this is my mama, daddy, and ancestors. Like this is not me. This is as much me as my name is me. You understand? Like they gave that to me too. They gave me a name. I got a last name. I don't even know where that come from. I don't even have a Wesley in my family. My mother that's her maiden name. And whenever she had me, she had not changed the name back over. So I didn't get my father's last name. So my last name is Wesley. So I gave a name that is not even mine to my own children. You understand? They call me by a name in which my mother gave me. Also, the avatar that they see in the mirror didn't come from me either. Like it came from my ancestors. This isn't me. This is them. I am them. This is you looking at, you judging me by them. You judging, when I post a picture of me, you're judging me by them. You look at my face, my being, and you say, he want to show off. Look at him. He's showing off who he is. That's not who I am. Again, I am my mind. This is where I live. So my caption, my voice, my words, when I manifest, when I interpret what comes from here to here, that is who I am. But I'm not this physical thing that you see. You understand? But to a sleep person, that's how they view the world. They view the world from their avatar. They look in the mirror and say, hey, I look good, or either I don't look good. I'm fat, I'm short, I'm tall. And all this weighs in on what you think about yourself. What you look like in the mirror has nothing to do with you. You didn't even ask for that. You have no control over what you look like in the mirror. Now, if you don't take care of yourself, then absolutely. It shows that you're not hygienic. It shows that you don't really care about yourself longevity-wise if you just eating what you want to eat. And believe me, your body going to tell on you. All that stuff going to start storing in bad places. And even if you have really great genetics to where it doesn't outwardly show, your heart can still be clogged. You can still get diabetes. You can be a skinny person and still not be healthy. So you're going to feel it. You understand? But again, allowing people to treat you badly, we're going to call that a sin, not because you're doing something wrong to a God, but because you're doing something wrong to a God. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve to subject yourself to anybody's torment. You're supposed to be in a heaven. You didn't do anything to go to hell. So why are they punishing you with negative information? Why are they clouding your brain with negative thoughts about yourself? And now you're depressed because what somebody said to you or did to you. And you're allowing it to continue is the problem. You're still putting yourself around these people. That's the problem. That's the sin. Because how can you be happy if you allow these people to stay in your life? I'm the king of cutting somebody off. And people see that as evil. But that's the purest thing you can do sometimes. When you realize that that source that you're plugged into, because that's all we are, is just sources, people. We're sources of energy. So when you realize that when I start connecting with you, and I realize when I connect with you, what comes from you is just negativity, I should know to uncouple from you. Why would I continue to be plugged into you if you're giving me negative information? Like, if you're giving me information that is slowing me down, that's crazy. I shouldn't have to still deal with you. I should be able to say, I'm done with you. I don't hate you. No hard feelings. But we're done. Because what's more important to me is my peace. I got to the point to where when I would see people's comments on my picture saying, you vain, that it literally would bother me. I would be like, dang, let me respond. And I realized it was doing something to my own peace. I don't want Facebook to have that much power over me. Believe me, when I first became famous with this stuff, every day I would see thousands of messages in my inbox. I would see people commenting on my pictures, creating memes about me. All this stuff would disrupt my peace. It's hard to be happy when you go online and everybody talking shit about you. If you've ever been there, family, and people doing this to you, you will realize that, man, it's hard to separate reality from social media, because that crap kind of still is reality. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though it's happening online, and I can say, I don't care what they think about me on Facebook. No, these people exist in the world. Like, and so it does kind of bother you. And so when you realize that, sometimes you got to be protective of your peace. So some people say, Kevin, don't worry about what they say. Well, the problem is that I do. And it's not so much that I worry about what they say to the point of I think it has any effect on me, but I think it has an effect on them. And I care about their growth so much that I won't, I guess, boggle them with my picture if that hurts them. You understand? So I apologize. No more pictures, but for that page, because I can't stop totally. Hey, I model. This has become part of my livelihood. It's taking photos. People send me clothing. They send me jewelry, make me jewelry. And I take photos in their stuff. You know, like I went to get a tattoo the other day, and turns out I'm likely not even going to have to pay for it. They're going to give me the tattoo as long as I promote them. These are benefits to having a large platform. And I tend to take advantage. I don't have the money to do these things. I don't have the money to buy a bunch of clothes like that. So the clothes you see me wearing that I get are my own clothes. They're born winter clothes. You see born winters on them. Clothing like this, though, this stuff is shipped to me from other companies. And all they want me to do is take a photo and tag them in it. And when I do that, which is building my business and building my economic growth, people say, well, I don't like him doing that. Well, how can I help people if I don't get money? I got to get money somehow. So if I can't use my avatar to make some money, you want me to ask y'all for money? Because y'all ain't trying to give it. Y'all gonna say, now I'm a beggar. So if I go get it on my own, that's a problem. And meanwhile, you're not in heaven because you're judging me. You should be focused on how you can do that. How you can do something as simple as take a photo and get paid for it or get free clothes for it. Wouldn't that help you in your life? But you're mad at me because I'm doing it. You're not saying, okay, what is Kevin going to do with this newfound stream of income? Maybe when he gets to a certain place to where he can take care of himself and his own children first, maybe we'll see Kevin out here feeding people. Maybe we'll see Kevin open up that facility that he's been talking about. Because obviously, depending on donations isn't doing it for him. He has to somehow figure out how to make this money on his own. He can't expect everyone to believe in his dream and be willing to give $1 to make it happen. He gonna have to make some money on his own. Kevin can't stay out here and keep borrowing money from people. So hey, instead of looking at it that way though, you'd rather be on the outside looking in, judging. And me personally, I'm being sinful to myself if I allow you people to dictate how I feel in that way. So what I'd have to do is separate myself from your opinions. Right, Latoya, or I'm scamming people. You see, and all this is done without any fact checking, any research. You're just saying what's inside of you, and you become like a demon because you're putting negative energy out there. And when we don't know any better, they don't really know Kevin any more than you do. When they see your comment say he's scamming, in their mind, because they don't do any research either, and we believe anything, just like if someone says APB for this person, you're gonna call the police. You're gonna say, okay, Kevin must be scamming with no proof. Y'all can be marched right off a damn cliff. I'm serious. Y'all don't do any research. You're not healed. You were in your belief because you didn't study and research. And now you're out of your belief, likely not even doing research. And now you can be taught anything and you still accept it without doing research. At some point, you're going to have to do that before you start jumping on these boats. Because what you do is when you jump on this boat, you realize it's not stable. And now you're jumping off and now you're on another boat. And before you know it, you're just not trustworthy. Because you've been on every boat. You've been a part of every religion. You've been on everybody's bandwagon. You've been everybody's hater at one point. And you've at one point cheered for everybody. Like people who come along and help me out, right? Kevin, I love what you're doing. You're so inspiring. The only reason you know of me is because of my work. But now that you don't like me anymore, don't listen to Kevin anymore. He's horrible. But I'm doing everything I was doing before you met me. When you met me, I didn't stop. And now you have a problem with what I'm doing. Is it that you're mad at me? Or is it that you really have a problem with what I'm doing? Because if you had a problem with what I was doing, you should have never cheered for me. You should have never came and said, let me support and help you. Really? You only left because of a misunderstanding. You only left because of a disagreement. And now the way I do my thing is bad. How can you be in heaven if you can't move, get out of the past? Stuck in the past. You're a ghost. You're a ghost. You're stuck in the past. And don't ghosts boo? Don't they boo you? Ghosts boo, don't they? Don't ghosts boo? My homie Dwight Howard, of course, he played for the Magic a long time ago. And they wanted the championship. He wasn't able to give him one. Well, now he plays for the Lakers, right? He goes back home to play on the Magic's home court. And guess what they do to him? Boo him. He ain't played for them since 2012, y'all. Don't ghosts boo? Don't they boo? Isn't that what they're known for? Booing. Right? Don't allow ghosts to haunt you. People who once used to cheer for you, right? Now they're booing you. Let them be dead where they belong. Don't listen to the boos. You understand? Their boos don't scare me. I refuse to be haunted by my past ghosts or demons. Y'all can go wherever y'all go. Start your new life. I'm gonna throw some salt around myself. In my mental, I'm gonna throw some imaginary salt around myself because I know ghosts can't pass salt, but yet they throw it. They always throwing some damn salt, but they can't cross over it. So I'm gonna put the salt on the ground, just as a mental way, as cognitive reality. Like I said, imagine that light around yourself. I imagine myself like on Supernatural, create a spell that keep them away, right? Because that's all ghosts come to do is boo and remind you of your past. You killed me when I was alive. You boo. You hurt me. Boo. I'm mad at you. Boo. I ain't got time for it. I don't have time for it. I need to go be better, not be reminded of my mistakes. We've all made them. And if being reminded of your mistakes is keeping you from pursuing the future and being a better you, and you can't handle some of us can't handle being reminded of our mistakes constantly. Because when you get reminded of your mistakes, you still think you got to apologize for some shit you already apologized for. And now you stuck in the past. Somebody still ain't over something you did to them years ago. And you still apologizing. You apologized. Their anger is a result of something they're doing to themselves. If you can be somewhere minding your business and someone else is sitting around mad at you, they're doing that to themselves. That's coming from their own hell. They putting themselves in a hell, all the while to be mad at you. If they're stuck in that cycle, you have to let them do that. You got to be like, look, I apologized, but now you're doing this to yourself. When did this happen? Years ago, right? Okay, so you're still mad about something that's years ago. You're doing that to you. That is your mind that's reminding you of this. These thoughts are in your mind, and you going and you basking in those thoughts. You eating it up. And now it's taking over your emotions again, even though it didn't just now happen. You're putting yourself under a spell, and that's not healthy for you. But then when you keep reminding me of it, it's not healthy for me because you keep making me feel guilty for something I already apologized to you for. And when you're guilty, you're not in heaven. That's a place where you go when you're in hell. Guilt is in hell. Guilt is not in heaven. How can you pursue and be happy if you're also feeling guilty? You understand? We're not healed. We have to start thinking about ourselves. How do I remain in a state of peace and bliss so I can be more creative? Look at a lot of these movies, man. When you see people who are not at the bottom of the social scale, white people, Chinese people, when they create movies, they get to create their movies, horror movies. They get to go far and beyond and challenge how you really think, right? When we make movies about our paradigm, survival, the struggle. And what that turns into is it's just black movies. Because it seems like when you give a black person a budget to create a movie, we make these type of movies. Now, is it wrong? No, it is your paradigm. That's your voice. You should speak to where you came from. But what that should tell you is this: the reason we're not making movies like, intellectual type movies that really draw you in, like Equilibrium, right? Movies like Limitless, movies like The Matrix, even though that was written by a lady who identifies as black. The reason you don't see us making a lot of these type movies is because we're stuck in a position of survival. We don't get to tap into our creative side that much and make movies about stuff that just challenges how you see the world, because we're constantly trying to survive. So of course your movies are going to be about survival in the world you live in. Well, in order for us to move forward, though, we got to get out of that place of survival and struggle. And most of us, that place only exists in your mind. We can actually go out here in this reality and build and create, but we won't do it because of fear, thinking somebody else is going to try to destroy it, thinking ourselves will try to destroy it with the way we turn on each other. And all of these thoughts in our mind keep us from pursuing the things that we need to pursue. That ultimately keeps you out of heaven, because 10 years from now, if we're still on the bottom of the economic scale, just the knowledge of that would make you feel bad and sad. Many of us be like, man, I hope something changed before I die. Like, I don't know if I'll even make it to being an old man, or even, live this whole life, and us be free. Like some of us just kind of gave up. Like, man, it's just gonna be like this. It's too late, That's why I say you got to learn to focus internally. So again, allowing people to mistreat you keeps you in that state of being depressed, confused, because they'll give you information that you don't need. You didn't ask them for. Imagine you say out loud, hey, I think I'm gonna open up this little spot over here. I'm gonna open up a little clothing store, and all of a sudden you got people giving you opinions now. It's not the right climate for it. You're not good enough. You don't even understand clothes like that. It'll never sell. It'll never work. I tried it. It didn't work. And now all of a sudden you don't even want to open your business anymore, because they've talked you out of your future. They talked you out of something that you conjured up in your heaven. It's your vision. You can't expect them to see it. It's your dream. You can't expect them you can't allow yourself to let other people tell you how to create your dream. It came to you. And whether you believe in a God or a universe, you have to start understanding something. If the universe is trying to expand, and you are the manifestation of the universe, your hands, your thoughts, your mouth, if the universe is trying to give you a thought and you're not acting on it, why wouldn't the universe give someone else that thought? Do you think the universe needs you to do it, or that it needs it to be done? I'm asking you again. Do you think the universe needs you specifically to do something, or do you think the universe just needs it done? And it's giving you an opportunity to be the one to do it. It's probably the latter, right? Because we can't think that we're more important than the universe. Like the universe is like, I need you. There's billions of you. The universe has billions of hands and mouths. If you don't do it, I'll just have to give somebody else that idea. And how many times have you ever had an idea and you didn't act on it? 5, 10 years later, somebody else did, and they're a millionaire. And you're like, dang, I thought about that years ago. Okay, and what did you do with the idea? Sit on it. So you cannot be upset if someone else is now having this idea. You can't be mad. You sit on the idea. Now you talking about, I thought about that years ago. And it's almost like a chop at somebody when you say this, an insult. Man, I thought about that years ago. But how come I'm the one that's the millionaire off this idea? You're trying to talk junk. Actually, you just insulted yourself. You thought about it years ago and didn't do anything? You sit on your ass? Okay, well, yeah, you thought about this years ago. But you were too lazy or fearful to put it into action. So thank you, universe, right? You ever hear somebody say an idea that's amazing and you be like, dang, why didn't I think of that? What if the universe just don't trust you to give you that idea? Because it's already gave you a million other ideas that you didn't act on. Maybe I am a result of listening to the universe. Why is Kevin growing? Why all these people like listening to Kevin? He ain't nothing special. I can do all, because this is what you see people saying. You're right. I ain't nothing special. I just believe in the thoughts that come to my head enough so to say them out loud and be willing to take what come with it. I'm willing to get on this live and talk to all these hundreds of people and potentially be wrong and be willing to face the backlash of what they say. You scared. That's the difference. You scared to say what you think out loud because you think people might not agree with it. I'm not. You understand? That's the difference. That's why the universe drops so much in my head and not in yours. And if it is dropping it in yours and you feel like, man, I've been on that shit for years, I could have said that I could do a better live to him. Well, then do it. And maybe the universe will reward you. But right now, you're not listening. So it unfortunately has to use little old me. Absolutely. We are expressions of our experiences. You are expressions of how you see the world. You take in the world and then you manifest that world with your actions. And let's just look at it like this. Let's go all the way back to when God was looked at as breath or prana, the life force, wind, when it blows across your face, right? When you breathe, when you exhale, all of these are forms of prana, right? When trees breathe, this is prana, right? Well, when you breathe, what you do with that breath, whether it's dancing, art, poetry, talking, right, like I'm doing now, dialoguing, debates, evil, robbery, murder, steal, kill, is a manifestation of that breath. Without that breath, you'd be dead. So when you, whatever you do after that is what you're, it's like when you put gas in a car, whatever that car is able to do now is a result of having fuel. Well, that prana is what they call God or the essence. So as long as you have in your body, you're able to manifest, right? You're able to do things, become, characterize, persona. You have persona because you have a person, a character that you play solely because you're linked to the source that we call prana. Breath, right? Right? It's called spirit, absolutely, the breath of God. This is what we're calling spirit, breath, the wind. So a guy asked me yesterday, do we cease to exist once we die? Like, where do we go? Like, where do we go? There won't be a you. You know, you are an ego, which is an illusion. Ego is only an illusion. We're all fighting to get rid of ego, but ego in itself is an illusion. It's a never-ending battle. It's like trying to not think, and all the while you're thinking. Trying to make your heart stop beating. You can't do it. Getting rid of your ego is impossible because it's the illusion in which you see yourself. But what you have to recognize is that it is an illusion. And therefore you don't need to feed it. But to destroy ego is to destroy the illusion altogether. And that's just not possible as long as you're still in this world. You live your life by your ego. So whether you're a father, mother, son, daughter, friend, brother, aunt, uncle, all of these things go with your ego, but you existed before these things. You existed before your mother said, this is your name. You existed before your mother wrote your name down to the paper on a government certificate and then signed her nature over to give them ownership of you and you get that social security number. You existed before that. You existed before you were a brother. You existed before you had a son or a daughter, right? Who is that person? Because when you die, you're still going to want to be this person, this mother, this father, this son, this brother, this sister, this Christian, this black person, this white person, this male, this female, this doctor, lawyer, whatever your job occupation is. These are things you identify. These are what shape your ego. Well, when you die, you don't get to be any of that stuff. So the question shouldn't be, where do I go when I die? The question should be, how do I become the wind again? Because the wind don't go by name. The wind don't have kids. And as much as you may love these people in your life that you call children, your father and mother, they don't get to go with you when you die. You understand? And neither does your name. Neither does your blackness. That thing that you identify with that makes you feel good about yourself, this ain't you. That's the illusion. See, a lot of us, we walk away from being manipulated with religion and we run to our blackness because people teach us, take pride in yourself, which you should, because we live in a world to where your blackness has been looked down upon. So to flip that, we're taught to look up upon it, to appraise it high. because it's been appraised low. But the truth is you're not black. Like a Cadillac car, it ain't black either. It ain't red either. It's a car, right? And you can only drive one at one time. But some of us are linked to the idea that you got to have 4 or 5 of these cars, right? In order to be happy. I got this, I got that, I got this. And you ain't trying to get rid of none of them, right? I got this many houses. You can only be in one at one time. You can only be in one place at one time. Now is where you can be, right? I was talking to a friend last night, and he said if I was being robbed, there used to be a time to where I would fight for my belongings, but man, I would just give it all up right now. I said that's a wise decision. Of course, you should give it all up. It's either give it all up or lose it all. Someone walks up to you and says, "Give me your wallet. Give me your jewelry." You're not gonna give it to them. The result could be your life, and if they take your life, they take everything from you. They take your mother, your father, your children, all your memories, because you're dead. And you can't take the stuff that you wanted to keep with you anyway. That goes too. So that necklace that you fighting for, that watch, that wallet that you fighting for, if they kill you, you lose it anyway. But you don't just lose that. You lose every person that you love. You lose your entire world. Because you only have this world because you're in the realm of the living. Do you value your life? Well, how many times have we seen people kill each other over pointless stuff? Because we've been taught to value paper and rocks more than we value ourselves. And that's crazy. So no, if you walk away from religion, it doesn't make you healed, because you likely still believe that rocks are valuable and paper is more valuable than people. And in a nutshell, we are paper people. Yeah, we human, but we have been tricked to being up under a spell for so long that we have become paper people. Think about it. There's a paper guide, Guide. There's a paper guide, and in that paper guide is a paper God, right? You have paper laws. We ask them to rewrite on the paper so we can be free, like as if the paper is the prerequisite to being free. You'd open your door if someone shows up with a piece of paper, right? You pray to a paper God and ask it to give you more paper, right? All the while, you're not paper though. But because of your belief system, you are paper. Because you have a birth certificate that has your name on it. You have a social security card that has your number on it. And all of these things are paper in which you identify with. Even though those names on that paper are in all caps, meaning it's a dead entity, just like a company, you still think you're that person. Paper people. Don't be stuck in the paper. The lines on the paper can be just like bars if you believe in what's on that paper. We should be beyond that. We run to the government. Hey, treat us right and write it down. You need somebody to write something on paper before they treat you right. Does a lion protest to another lion when it tries to fight him and kill its cubs? No, it just fights back. We're no longer natural beings because we are so imprisoned that we are paper beings. It's the reason you can't release an elephant in the wild. It can't take care of itself. Neither can you. Neither can I. We can't plant our own food. You could take a person with several degrees and a person that can open your heart out and replace it with another heart. You could take a person that can walk in a courtroom with you and fight your case. I'm talking about years of education. And if you drop them in a jungle, they wouldn't survive for a week because they actually don't know how to take care of themselves. So all of this praise, all this money that they get is only because they learned this matrix. And in school, they teach you how to live within this matrix, not how to live, not how to survive. We teach children that this is what we've learned and you need to adopt this as your knowledge too. We don't teach them that they have their own mind. And what we have learned is only tools for you to be able to use and then make us better but challenge the tools that we give you. No, they don't want you to challenge anything in school, though. No, this is how it's done, and it is what it is. If you try to challenge them, you're disruptive to the classroom. So we're taught to just take the information and listen to the information and learn. We're not taught to take the information and take it further. Just that concept alone would change school. Tell children that they have a mind. And these things that we're teaching you came from the mind of people. Clocks aren't real, but while they're necessary, they're not real. If I say, hey, meet me in 15 minutes or at 10:30, at this point, that clock becomes a useful tool. But if you believe in time, you're under a spell. Words. Words are used to communicate, and we as human beings came up with them. But they are words to communicate. If you believe that words are real, though, like cuss words, right? That some being is going to be mad at you for saying a man-made word, that if someone calls you a thought, a hoe, or outside of your name, that you have to be angry. You just might be under a spell. And now you don't just understand words as tools. You believe in these words. You believe in time. And that's what keeps you in a spell. These are only tools, young child. These are things that you teach your children. A foot, a mile, an inch, a pound. It's all man-made concepts and constructs. They're not real in the realm of reality. Pounds don't grow in nature. Letters don't grow in nature. Shapes don't grow in nature, right? You've never seen a perfect square. That's just something we made up. You've never seen a triangle grow in nature, right? An octagon. These things are man-made concepts and symbols that we have to abide by because we live in this world. So you know what happens when you see a red stop sign, but that's not a natural thing. Yet, do you think it's real? Or do you think it's a tool in which you use to navigate? Because you've never wondered why a deer crossed the street on a red light. You know they don't adhere to that matrix, so you know to watch out for deers, right? or deer. You never ask yourself why a deer ran a stop sign, right? We know that they don't succumb to this matrix, so you just look out for them, right? You build a gate, a fence, so they can't cross over. Hopefully they won't, but you can't tell these deer don't go to the other side of your world that we built a road through because we put a road through it. No, that deer is probably going to risk getting hit by a car. You should too. You should be willing to risk being hit to be free. Those signs that you always see, maybe you should ignore them and act just like that natural animal. I'm telling you, man. Because words can keep you bound. And if you allow people around you, my whole point from this was saying that we allow people around us that gives us negative information. So if you believe in words, you will let them cast spells over you and keep you from your dream. Just imagine right now, Toya started her amazing business, right? If she would have went online and said, hey, I'm going to start a yoni steaming business, she probably would have had people say, don't do it. I tried it, it didn't work for me. It takes so much money. You know, black people don't support each other. Don't take your money and go invest in no store and expect these people to come in this place and bring you their business. They won't. They rather go to a Chinese person to get their nails done. They rather go to an Arab to buy their hair. If you open this hair store, if you open this nail salon, they are not going to give you their business. You are wasting your time. Toya might have got the idea to kill that idea. Sometimes you can't tell people your plans because that's when the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Who is the devil? People who are unbalanced with more negative energy than positive. If you're unbalanced with more negative energy, you're going to be bitter. And everything that spews from your mouth is going to be negative. And while you may not be wrong, you don't realize that's not appropriate to give everyone all the negative stuff that happened to you because that happened to you. Your business failed. That has nothing to do with me. What I should ask you is, did you take the time to study factual information concerning your business? Did you put in order a good plan before you started your business? Did you build a clientele before you started your business? Like Toya, did you go to other women like Toya did and had them trying out these steaming products before she ever got a building? Yes, she did. What did you do, though? Did you just open up a place and put some products in here and expect people to walk in there and give you their money? That's not how business works for anyone. So maybe don't listen to their negativity. But if you're allowing yourself to do that, you're allowing them to put you in a hell. And you're not strong enough to not listen to them. You're going to take their advice. And a lot of this advice is coming from complete strangers that's never even commented on your wall before. I've noticed that. If I say, hey guys, let's raise this money to do this thing, I start getting comments from people I never knew existed. Ah, Kevin, don't do that. Don't ask the people for money. Ah, no, just do it for free, Kevin. How can you do it for free? So I'm supposed to take my money, go rent a venue, right? Pay for my ticket, fly to this place, open these doors, and just teach for free. Then what about me? I'm gonna be broke. We all gotta come together and put something in because it's doing something for all of us. But you're telling me don't ask for money. Every person who teaches and gets a venue takes money up because if they're doing it on their own, they would go broke. And if we all agree that this is something that needs to be needed, you need to buy your ticket and shut up, right? Don't tell me I shouldn't charge or what I'm charging is wrong. If you don't think it's worth it, just don't buy the shirt. Don't buy the ticket. This was crazy, y'all. How many times have you ever went to go look up a concert, right? My homie, he play in Atlanta. Dwight, he play in LA, but he gonna be in Atlanta playing tomorrow. I looked at the tickets, like I'm gonna go see my boy play, right? $3,500 for 2 tickets. But guess what I didn't do? Call the Atlanta Hawks Stadium and say, why y'all charging that much for tickets? Man, that's what they charge. I just ain't gonna get a ticket because I can't afford the ticket. Now I can sit here and talk junk about it all day, but what's it gonna do for me? It ain't gonna get me a ticket. That's what we do. You look on my live, you look on my post and say, Kevin charging $30. What, $30, Kevin? If you don't want to come, don't come. You're only worth what you charge. So if you don't feel like I'm worth $30, then keep your sour ass at home. Right? But what does that do? It forces me to say, maybe I need to reduce the prices then. And I've done this before. I'm telling you, I've been a victim of this. This is why I'm telling you, I know. I've let people's opinions sway me. Lower the price down to $20, right? Some days even 15 to get people to buy a ticket because they think $15 or $30 is too high. What happens? People buy those tickets when you reduce those prices, but then you're not able to cover the cost of those venues. You're not able to cover the cost of what it costs you to even fly there. And so you end up leaving with less money than you came with. Wow. All because you listen to people. Y'all better stop listening to people. It's not their dream. It's not their vision. Don't let them dictate how you do it. And if you allow these people in your life to keep distributing into your life, you're putting yourself in a hell. That's why I say that is sin, because you allowing these people around you to do that. But let me move on. People who lie, deceive, gossip, they are in a hell. There's no way you can be in heaven in a place of peace still gossiping about people. I got people that I don't even deal with anymore still posting about me. They ain't even free from the hell they live in. And they feel like they have the right to post about me, saying, I'm not Martin Luther King. I'm not Malcolm X. You're not either. And while we're at it, nobody is. They were them people. And they're dead. They have moved on. They have transitioned. All we have is their words and their actions that we use to inspire us. Nobody can be them, though. So what type of ridicule is that to tell somebody who they are not? Who are you? Worry about who you see in the mirror, the person you got to deal with every day. But yet you're on Facebook talking about me. How can you truly be in peace? You can't be. You're putting yourself in hell to talk about me. It's people out here who know me personally, who know I've had personal faults and personal disagreements with people to the point to where I cut them off or they cut me off, whatever the case may be. But ask those people when they talk to me, do I talk about them damn people? I act like they don't exist. They're ghosts. I will never say your name out loud again. Go be free. I'm not going to keep putting you in hell in my mind because I got to go with you. If I put you in hell in my mind, I got to go with you. We chain together. So I might as well just let you be free. You understand? Instead of reminding myself of what you did to me. Because when I do that, I'm going to be mad and I can't be blissful while I'm mad. Free these people so you can free yourself. I'm not interested in sitting here talking about old people who did stuff to me. You understand? But when I see them still doing it, it makes me realize, like, wow, maybe freedom don't come to everybody so easy. So understand, when you play this role of the devil or the demon or the agent, where you go around giving bad information, insulting other people, causing them to not be worried about their own life. Now they're worried about the person you're talking about and worried about if what you're saying is true. You're playing a demon because you're getting people off track or distracted from their own life and their own goals and potential. If we could all shut down for a week or a month and only focus on our goals and then come back here to talk about what we accomplished, it would blow your mind what you're able to do within 1 month's time. But if you give you 10 years and you keep allowing yourself to be surrounded by people who give their uninvited opinions, people who come to you gossiping, people in your life who steal from you, lie to you, hurt you, you'll probably, and within 10 years, you wouldn't have gotten done what you would have gotten done in that 1 month because you separated yourself from everybody. Sometimes, man, it's worth it to just close the door, turn the phone off for 1 hour and write down your business plan. For 2 hours, study what it would take to write down your business plan. Study, well, I don't know how to write a business plan. Well, have you looked that up? It's just a Google click, a YouTube click. What be tripping me out is like if someone tells you they have a dream, right? You know, I have a dream. I have this future that I want for myself. If you ask them, what are you doing to bring that dream about? A lot of times they can't really tell you. Have you even studied what it takes to bring your dream to fruition? No. Why? Love and hip hop. Why? The radio. Why? The social media. Why? Regular media. Why? The food I ingest. Why? The drinks I drink. Why? I always want sex. Why? I always smoke weed. Why? It's always something that's keeping you from your potential. Self-control is key. Yeah, while sex is beautiful, to be overwhelmed with the ideas of it can slow you down. You're supposed to be working to build your life, but all you can think about is ass. That's a problem. All you can think about is penis. That's a problem. Self-control is key. Dang, where can I go tonight? Where the girls gonna be? You could be home writing that book, building that website, looking up the products that you want to sell in this new store that you're gonna open, learning more about the thing that you want to do in your life. But instead you wonder where the girls gonna be, where the shorties at tonight. Let's go to this spot, let's go to that spot, let's see who we can run into. I've been there, so believe me, I'm telling you what I know. What are fellas at tonight? What's jumping tonight? Girl, let's go over here to this spot. I can't find a good man. You ain't even got your life together. And while, yeah, another person, like an opposite sex to have fun with, have sex with, talk with, while that may be fun, you're making that prerequisite to your happiness. That is a problem because a man ain't going to make you happy. I promise you that. A woman is not going to make you happy. That's your responsibility, man. Your happiness is your responsibility. So I don't care what woman you dating in your life. It can be the baddest girl you ever dated. It can be the most attractive guy you ever had in your life. If your life is in shambles, you're not going to be happy. So you need to focus on your own goals and dreams and start bringing those things to fruition, because until then, you'll likely be in a miserable state, especially whenever you start thinking about your purpose. Well, dang, I ain't doing nothing. Yeah, you go to work every day. Yeah, you got a decent little bank account, but you're still feeling unhappy because you're not fulfilling your life's purpose. You don't feel fulfilled. Find out what those things are that make you feel fulfilled and really make it a point to do that. If you're not taking care of yourself, you can't expect anyone else to. Many of us, we find it a bigger sacrifice to focus more on someone else than ourselves. We do it with our children, which should be so. We should make our children a prerequisite to ourselves. They didn't ask to be here, especially when they're a certain age. But many of us do the same thing with our friends and peers. We put them before ourselves, and that's just not healthy. I know that because I spent my life doing it. When I was pretty much on my sick bed, I was pretty much on my sick bed, family, and I'm still going live. Talking to people, reading their comments and letting them stress me out when I should be focused on my healing. I've always given more to the public than I have with myself. I mean, I'm talking about I'm raising money to go feed the homeless and feed the hungry when I'm one of them people. You see what I'm saying? I myself don't know how I'm going to be in my place. for another month without knowing where my next bill, no check gonna come from, my next dollar gonna come from, because I'm not linked to a physical job where I know how to be paid. My life comes through donations and shirt sales, unfortunately, and when I do events and things of that nature, or when I model clothes or model people's products. I don't know what I'll be getting paid next month. It's stressful, but all the while here I am out here trying to feed people. Here I am going for hours on live trying to talk to people about how to live their life. My life ain't together. And people look at that and say, well, dang, if your life ain't together, how you gonna help me fix mine? If you can't free yourself, how can you free anybody else? Well, what I say to that is, supposing I had the key to your chain, who's to say that my lock and your lock is the same? Right? I can very much free you even if I'm not freed. What if the key I have is not to my locks, but it's to yours? Don't use that excuse to not listen to somebody. Just because they may not have it all, because they're not rich, does not mean they can't help you. But that person that's helping you needs to take into account to take some of the advice that they're given. Some of that beautiful wisdom that comes through them, they need to start applying it to themselves. But many of us don't have the words when it becomes ourselves. We don't have the right words to say when we're talking about ourselves. We can give everybody else advice, but when it comes to us, we just don't we don't have the right words to say. We don't know how to advise ourselves. I say a good practice for that is to just look in the mirror. Look in the mirror so you can see yourself outside of yourself, and then begin to give yourself advice. And maybe you can trick yourself into believing you talking to someone outside of you and give that wisdom that you can also well give to all these other people. Look in the mirror and say, what is it that I'm trying to do with my life? What is the next step I should be taking? And ask yourself that question. You don't got to ask it out loud. You can just think it. Look yourself in the eyes and just be like, what's the next step that I should take? And pose that question to your life coach, who is yourself, as if they have that answer. You can give somebody else that answer. So believe me, you can give it to yourself. You just have to trick yourself into believing that this is someone else. And it really is. So it's like whenever you do that, maybe the answer will come to you. And start looking at yourself from the outside looking in, because we can see when someone else is wasting their time. Right? We can see when someone else is like, they say that they want this thing, but nothing in their life is showing that they want that thing. When they wake up every day, nothing that they do is taking them closer to that thing. Like you say you want to be a musician, but you don't write songs. When the last time you wrote a song? Well, I ain't wrote in a while. But you want to be, like, do you know how often musicians write? You should make it a point to write a lyric, write a verse a day. Something. You're a writer, but you haven't wrote in a while. You should make it a point to jot down something every day just to sharpen your skills and make sure that you stay prepared. Because you know that if you don't do that, you'll become dull. It ain't so much that the skill leaves, but you're not as sharp as you were. Right? So we have to understand that that our plan, it comes from a place of actual commitment and determination and sacrifice. Whenever Toya wanted to open her building, she had to first find a venue that she knew that she could afford with the money she'd be bringing in. Then she had to think about the products she had to buy, the yoni steaming devices that she had to buy, and how she was going to promote it, and how she's and the lights. You got to think about all of this stuff. And when she had this plan, she went in and said, okay, now I can think about what color I want to make the walls and my signs and my logos. But all this stuff comes step by step. It ain't going to come to you in a day. And sometimes when you give people your advice or give people your dream, they want you to be able to tell them the whole dream at that moment, like tell them exactly how you're going to do it. And you may not have all that yet. So you got to give yourself a break and realize that, faith is not the absence of things, the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. As the Bible tells it, faith is actually just ignoring everybody around you. Because ain't that what they do? Think about it. They believe so much in this idea of going to heaven, so much in the idea of their Christianity or their of their Islam or their, Judaism or whatever their religion is. They believe so much in it that they ignore anything that you say to the contrary of it. That, my friends, is faith. So I'm telling you, you can take that same ridiculous faith and apply it to your own life. That means come to your conclusion off of research, though, not belief. Read about what it is you're trying to do. Put together a solid plan and then use faith. It means believe in your plan without listening to what these people say to you on the outside. Focus on the plan that you trusted yourself with, and don't listen to these people. Because most of these people who end up being millionaires and billionaires, man, they tell you that people told them not to do it. People told them they would fail. And many of them failed the first, second, third, fourth, 10th time. But it's something in their head that there's this faith that blinds them to reality. While it may be failing, while it may look like it's failing, they literally are walking by faith, not by sight. They're walking by this plan they put in line. Even though it doesn't look like it's working, they did the research though. And because you've never done this before, it may not look like it's working, rightfully so. Have you ever seen a boxing match, right? And you see the first round, or MMA fight, right? You see or a football game, or a basketball game, whatever sport you watch that's broken down into either rounds or quarters, right? You see the end of that boxing match. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna use boxing. I like the box. So boom, 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 right? See the end of that match. You already think in your mind, you know who's gonna win. What do you see the corner telling that person? Don't change the game plan. We got him right where we want him. Even if he appears to lose that round, they have a game plan over here. Yeah, you saw it seem like the other dude landed more punches than him. You're going by points. This match is not over. It can end in an instant. The same way your life, like you can be working, it can seem like you're a million years from making your dream come to pass. All it takes is that one punch, yo. Stick with your plan. You understand? You can't be looking by points because the round ain't over by points. You got to get to the end of all those rounds before you're forced to now have to look at the points because nobody knocked the other one out, right? So if that person that stepped back in that ring knows that they lost that first round, but that's not something they're concerned with. They're not interested in winning every round. They're interested in that person making that mistake, dropping that hand because they're confident. Every time they throw that punch, that right, and they connect, because you let them connect a couple times, but you went with the flow of their punch. So while it may seem to connect, you were going back with it. You didn't take on the full blunt. So when someone hits you, right, you bring your neck, like if I'm turning to the side, because I'm gonna show you. Like somebody hitting you, right? When you boxing, your head is like on a swivel. So you're not just moving side to side, your neck is loose. So when someone throws a punch, you move with that punch. And while the crowd may think all that came from momentum and knocked you back, you were already moving. So while that person threw that punch, right? Boom, they threw that punch. You notice that left hand drops a little bit. You're waiting for him to make that mistake. So when he throw it again, you go back, right? As soon as you see him drop that punch, bow, hit him in that spot, right? And even if you don't knock him down, you slow him down. Because now they don't feel comfortable throwing that punch no more. Now they focused on keeping their hands up. And if you focused on keeping your hands up, you ain't that focused on the fight. See, you need to train so hard that keeping your hands up is just part of what comes with it. Like breathing. You're not thinking, I gotta breathe. But if someone's beating you badly, you will be focused on your breath. And they'll have to tell you, work on your breathing. You're not breathing right. Because you're not good enough. You didn't train enough to where breathing was just robotic. You didn't train enough to where keeping your hands up is just muscle memory. All that comes when the doors is closed. All that comes when the crowd ain't looking. But you just want to be seen. So you focused on the fight. You thought about the fight. Yeah, when he throw that punch, I'm going to duck and hit him with this. No. You got to train on that bag, baby. You got to train. Bags don't hit back. And it ain't about the bag. It's about you keeping your hands up. That speed bag, that's just, anybody can get good at that. It don't mean you can box. And the speed bag forces you to keep your hands up. Because you can't hit that bag fast from down here, right? It don't work like that. Your hands have to be up, and that's how you hit that bag. Boom, 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 boom. Before you know it, you hitting that bag. You understand? It's the point is it keeps your hands up and it keeps you within rhythm. And you start learning that when you throw a punch, it doesn't come from throwing power, throwing from your body, throwing from your arms. You throw from your whole entire body, your core. So when you hitting that bag, if you're doing it with power, your shoulder's gonna start burning. When you're hitting that speed bag, it's the same thing. If you're doing it with nothing but power, and you're looking at how far you can move the bag, you're doing it wrong. The hitting the heavy bag is about your snap. It's about being loose, imagining your body like a whip, right? And just like when somebody's pop locking, right? It's not about muscle. It's about fluidity. So if you think it's a whip, if I keep you at the end of a whip, I can rip your skin off. So when I'm throwing my punch, I'm not throwing it like that. I'm throwing it from a like a whip, like and then it connects. So when you're hitting the bag, that's what you're learning, not how hard you can hit the bag. It's kind of like Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. He thinks he's learning how to wax cars. I'm teaching you how to block. I'm teaching you how to deflect this whole time. Don't neglect the training because you don't see a purpose in it. People have been there longer than you. They have more experience than you. Stop thinking you know it all. See what I'm saying? Sometimes it's your own mind that's keeping you from that thing, thinking that the people who came before you don't know nothing. Oh, they know something. We all did it. I can tell you times where I talked about my grandparents not even being able to read that well, right? They can't help you with your homework, but they can tell you what cures your body that grows up, that just grows outside. They can give you remedies that you wouldn't even have access to. Your school didn't teach you. Yeah, you can tell them what the square root of the room they're in. Okay, and they can heal your body without pharmaceutical medicine. Who's really fit to survive? Them or you? No, they can't tell you what the synonym for an apostrophe is. I'm just making up something, but they can't tell you what a semicolon is, right? But they can go outside and grow a garden. Can you? Many of us wouldn't survive a week on our own, and yet we have all this education. Like, stop discounting people because they can't do what you can do in terms of what your reality or your matrix taught you. You live in a system that tells you that you're smart, but it's just making you comfortable. You're not really. Like, yeah, you're smart because you can regurgitate. Sure. You can recreate a spell. Good. Great. What do you want, an award? Can you create your own spells? Can you create your own magic, or are you just repeating what you hear? You understand? If you walk away from belief or religion, and these are not things that you understand, you're far from being healed. We have to learn to focus on ourselves first, become better, and we have to realize what keeps us from that creative side of us, and that is depression, guilt, anger, hostility, laziness, being overindulgent in certain things and activities. You know, like, I wouldn't tell my children that drinking is wrong. I wouldn't tell my children that smoking is wrong. I wouldn't tell my children that eating is wrong. What I would tell them is that the overindulgence of these things can stagnate your growth ultimately. In everything, use wisdom. If you just say, don't do it, it's bad, that's not really teaching your children. If you say overindulgence of these things can hurt you, because if you overindulge on some of these things, they can make your body unhealthy. Yeah, we're going to all eat foods that aren't good for us, but when you make a habit of eating foods that's not good for you, that's bad for you, what's going to happen? Your body will take on the effect of what you're eating. Bad. Okay, so yeah, if you're eating bad foods every now and then, they say, well, vegans eat junk food too. Yeah, every now and then they might. And they might all the time. Even we should consider that. Right? We can't eat junk food all the time. Sometimes we got to eat something that's good for us, that actually feeds us, feeds our soul, feeds us mentally. Everything has a purpose. Someone says evil has a purpose. Absolutely. Absolutely. Every atom is half positive, half negative. Every one of them. Negative is as much needed as positive. It's the yin and yang. And you're both. And so whatever you feed yourself, as far as negative energy and positive energy, if you unbalance yourself and then you become a negative energy. You become a person who embodies that which is negative. That's all you see is the negative. When you look at a picture, you see the people frowning. You understand? You don't see the people smiling. When you look at life, you see the negative aspects. And believe me, we do need negative people. Some people are just built to be negative because they're needed. So we want to see when people can recognize that things are wrong in the room, right? Some people sitting around, they just so positive, they happy, everything's good, and the whole place about to get shot up, but you can't see it because you're only looking at positive shit. So we do need someone who can see negative. Like, I don't like how that man's face looking right there. I don't like his energy. And while that may bother you when somebody telling you, I just don't feel, the energy don't feel right in here, let's go. Yeah, you might want to stay, but they actually might be right. So negative energy sometimes is good. You have to, it's just what you do with it, you know. But again, if you overwhelm yourself with positive energy, you become that Buddha, that Krishna, that Ganesha, that Jesus, right? That person who rises to that crown chakra and literally wears that crown and enlightens others now and brings them into the light and still becomes a sacrifice to those people by giving them their own life and time to help those people radiate at a higher frequency, right? Or you can be a energy vampire or an energy demon or agent or devil geared to keep people down in that lower chakra. And you don't have to be negative necessarily to do that. Your homeboy, fellas, your homeboy can be like, hey man, let's go out and holler at some girls tonight. Now you were planning on staying home and writing in your book, working on that song that you're working on. But what they're trying to do now is get you to think with your lowest chakra, right? Your penis, like fulfilling yourself in that way. And while that may not be wrong, your plan wasn't to do that. Your plan was to stay home today and work on that book. And no, they didn't say anything negative to you, but what they said to you was counterproductive to you pursuing your dream. You going out tonight and hollering at those girls is not going to get you not even one step closer to that song being written, that book being written. But yet they talk to you about it. Hey man, let's go holler at some girls. I heard there be some bad shorties over at such and such. And now you like, yeah, let's go over there. Now I ain't been out in a minute. Maybe you still shouldn't go out. Maybe you should, hey man, actually, you know what? I'm gonna chill tonight, bro. Everything ain't about sex, right? I'm gonna stay home and work on this book. Same thing, ladies. Hey, let's go out tonight. I got this guy I'm dating. He got a friend. Hey girl, why don't you come out with me tonight? You know you was gonna stay home and work on that thing that you've been working on, or been thinking about working on. And now all of a sudden you start thinking with your lowest chakra. Well, I hadn't been out of the house for a while. I hadn't had no attention in a while. I hadn't had any sex in a while. So let me go on out and fulfill this lower part of me. Yeah, this keeps you acting in the flesh, which is called your devil, your flesh side, right? You fulfilling the parts of the flesh instead of fulfilling parts of your intellect, which would in turn make your future better. And believe me, when you get to heaven, there will be women. Ask Allah. The women will be there. But you keep stopping along the way to holler at women when now you ain't never going to get to your heaven. The women will always be there. The men will always be there. Especially whenever you become successful, everybody's heaven is filled with women or men, whatever it is that you like. It's a lot of cousins up there too. They're going to come out of nowhere. People love you when you're successful. So work on being a success. And they also hate you when you become successful as well. Know that you have to deal with both. Because we're both. That's what this world consists of, is negative and positive. It's going to be both. But if you're not careful and you don't fix yourself, fix your own medium that you use to live in this realm of reality and in your dream world, if you don't clean this thing and deal with this thing, it's going to be hard to find true happiness, I'm telling you. Because you're going to be in a state of misery yourself. And that's not the goal. We don't need you in a state of misery, because some people in a state of misery, they hurt others. We all act differently when we're in this place. Some people that are in hell, they just complain. And even then, their complaining kills other people's drives. I mean, I remember being at work, man, and people coming to work, dang, I don't feel like being here today. And I'd be like, you could have kept that to yourself, right? Like, did you need to say that shit? Like, because see, here I was. I'm always a positive person. Listen, I don't need people to pep me up, pamper me, pep talk me, or push me. See all those P's? Paper people. I don't need to be pepped up and all, none of that stuff, right? So my whole thing is I'm gonna wake up with my own goal because I know I need to go in this place and sell this furniture, sell these cars because I was a salesman. I'm gonna go in here with I'm already inspired. I'm already good. You know what I mean? I come into place ready to shine because I know that my attitude is going to create, my future, my paycheck. If I'm approaching my customers like, welcome in, just take your time and look around. Let me know if you need me. They're probably not going to be that inspired to buy from me. If they do buy, they might just call over the closest person to them, like, can you help me for a second, ma'am? They'll forget I even greeted them at the door. But when they walk in, I'm like, welcome to such and such. My name is Kevin, and what is your name? Fantastic. So what brings you in today? What you looking at? Oh, living room sets. Okay, well, let me ask you a question before you look around, because believe me, I'm not the type of salesman to be all over you. I know customers hate that, even though they teach us to do that. So let me just ask you some questions. You looking for a sectional or a recliner set, or like a sofa love seat combo? And they might say, oh, I'm looking for a recliner set, but I do want it to be a sectional. Okay, fantastic. Are you looking for like a C-shaped sectional or like the L shapes? And they might be like, I'm looking for the L shapes. I'm trying to get it to go back into a corner. Well, okay, great. I'm going to let you look, but let me just show you where they are first. I got like 5 of those, and I don't want to just let you loose and you go looking at every piece in this place, and you may overlook one, or you may actually even just spend your time looking at stuff you ain't even come in here for. So let me just take you to them. Okay, great, fantastic. Okay, cool. Here's one, and just so you know, that can be a left-facing one or a right-facing one. It comes in blue, red, brown. It comes in leather and fabric. So this one style has many different ways you can do it. So I know I said we had 5, but when you look at how this can accommodate you, this is really several sets in one. And then you show them another one. When you have that type of enthusiasm, your customer is going to remember you. When they come back, they're likely going to ask for you. And if they buy that day, they definitely ain't buying it from nobody else in that building. You understand? And this comes from you. They feeding off your energy. Because they probably don't want to be there looking at no couch anyway. So they make this as fast and as painless for them as possible. Right? Now, if they say, that's okay, just give me time to look, give these people time to look. But that comes from you. So I would do the morning meetings, right? And try to get everybody inspired to go out and sell. And they would say things like, other salespeople in these meetings would say things like, well, I don't feel like being here today. And I would ask them, did you need to say that? I mean, just asking. What would have happened had you not said, I don't feel like being here today? Well, I guess everything would have still been normal. So why do you feel like you said that? Because as soon as you said that, what did the other people do? Yeah, me either, man. I ain't feeling it today. Right. So you're telling yourself you're not feeling it, and you believe it. Why? Why aren't you feeling it today? What's different today than was yesterday? Nothing. So it's just a feeling, right? Yeah. So can't you overpower that feeling and just go out and be inspired? Can't you do that? I mean, I guess. Then why are you doing something different than that right now? Why are you choosing to bring other people down than to rather just fake it? You could have walked in here and just acted inspired. You didn't have to come in here like that. That's why I say people are just negative. Some people are just going to be negative. Thank you very much for the donation. Some people are just negative. You understand? So we have to get to a point to where, we recognize that people are going to be negative and people are going to be positive, and some people need to be charged. Either way. So some people be sitting there blah. They don't know whether to respond positive or negative until you give them a charge. And your charge is your negative thought or positive thought. I don't feel like being here today. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, me either. Because they don't even have a brain. Don't seem like. They go see a whole movie. Did you like the movie? I don't know. What'd you think? I thought it was good. Oh, yeah, I thought it was good, too. Oh, matter of fact, I thought it was bad. Yeah, you're right. It was bad. You ain't even got your own mind. You cannot be trusted. I'd rather you be negative than not even have your own mind. At least you know what you think. I'm not going to do this any longer than it's 2 hours. So I know a lot of times our attention span ain't that long. It was really wonderful sitting in front of you guys today and talking with you guys about this subject. But I want us to take into account the summary of this all is, long story short, don't forsake yourself, right? Don't forsake yourself, because when you do that, it is you who kills you. Remember in the Bible, the allegory when Jesus looked up at God and said, why did you forsake me? When you'll find yourself asking the God of yourself, Why did you forsake me? And it's not that the universe has a problem with you. It's not. You killing your own dream. It's not that the universe is picking on you. Everybody else can succeed and you can't. No, you just can't stay focused. You're focused on other people. You're not focused on you. You plug yourself into all of these things where other people are being talked about, other people are being critiqued, other people are being blasted, and you join that bandwagon. That's what we do every day, and then you make it another part of your life to wake up and do it again tomorrow. Your habits are what's keeping you in hell. You understand? In your mind, change your habits. If you don't do that, you can't expect to change your life. I'm telling you, you are a result of what comes into you, whether that be food, inspiration, or negativity. That when you have your being through that breath you breathe. You also have your being through that thought you think. You also have your being through what you allow people to say to you. All these things together become who you think you are. And you use that breath to manifest who you think you are outwardly. And that's what we get to see. So if what you're expressing to us is a negative person, we kind of know where you stand. Focus on yourself. Focus on the dreams and goals that you have and put everything into making them come true. Study to make them come true. Right? Read. Be willing to do a Google click, man. Be willing to check out a book. Be willing to seek someone who could be a really good advisor for you, who would be interested in giving you information, but not destroying how you see it. Because sometimes, man, people will just give you negative information just because they don't want you to be their competition. So if you go to, like, say, I have a t-shirt company, right, or a clothing company. I've went to other people and said, hey, man, who do you go through for your logos? You know, what's a better way to promote? And before you know it, they're telling you, nah, it's hard on all of us right now, man. I be trying to promote too. It ain't working for me either. Meanwhile, they selling 3 times what I'm selling per month. But they don't want to give me the answer because they don't want me to be their competition. That's the only reason. So you have to understand that just because someone stands in a position to advise you don't mean they're going to give you the right advice. That's why I say read and get unbiased answers. Like, just look online or check out a book where this person has nothing invested in you failing or succeeding. They don't have a dog in that race. They were simply successful at it, so they wrote a book and told other people how to be successful at it. But if you're asking someone that already does what you're trying to do, like, say right now, people always ask me, hey, Kevin, I want to do a podcast. How do I get followers? I'm going to give you the honest answer. I never actually had to do that part. I was famous before I ever had a podcast. I was famous before I ever started a YouTube channel. I made one video, and it just so happens it just went viral. People may say, well, Kevin, you got lucky. I say I got unlucky. I got fired from that video, but it did give me a head start on social media accounts, channels and such. But I don't really know how to build a YouTube channel. I don't really know how to build a Facebook channel. People just come to me. I've never really had to do that. So I'll tell people I'm kind of a different breed. I don't really have the information, but I'll tell you what you could do. Look it up for yourself. And you can Google how to grow my Facebook, how to grow my podcast, how to grow my YouTube channel. And there's people on there unbiasedly telling you how they did it. I just didn't have to do that because people shared this message that I was teaching. And I would be lying to y'all if I told y'all I did all of this off my own effort. I couldn't have done it without y'all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right now on YouTube, there's 143 people watching. I don't got a gun to their head. I didn't even advertise I was going to be doing this live. Many people can advertise for 2 weeks they're going to do a live and still won't have 10 people on it. I can just press live and 300 people be listening. Like, I didn't do that. I didn't do that on my own. So I can't tell you how to do it. All I can tell you is with this platform, I can use it to the best of my ability. I can say, okay, with this comes a huge responsibility. I didn't ask for these powers, right? I was bitten by a radioactive spider, and so I still have to use it correctly. So I say, hey, with this large platform, I want to give people the truth. I want to give people the best parts of me. I don't want to get online and give them my negativity. I don't want to get online and tell them who I'm mad at. I don't want to get online and tell them who I don't talk to anymore. I don't want to force them to have to choose sides. I want them to be able to just think about themselves, and how to better their lives. If I do anything other than that, when I log off, I have failed. This is what I taught myself. When I go online, when I log off, I want people's focus to still be on themselves and how they can better their lives. If when I log off, you're thinking about another person and how much you don't like them now because of what I said, I have failed you guys, and I have failed myself. Because how does that really benefit me? You understand? Yes, in recent time, I've had to go live and have a discussion with someone who was downplaying my name, or tell that person to stop downplaying my name. You saw this, but you guys saw me before say I would never do this. And then here it was, never say never, because I was presented with a certain few things that made me feel obligated to do this, right? Thank you very much. Somebody said they love the album. As obviously, guys, go to iTunes and just type in Kevin Wesley, The Rapture, and you can get the album off iTunes. Thank you in advance. But I could be sitting here, telling you guys about every little person that made me mad, saying, hey, don't listen to this person. They're a liar. They feel it propaganda. If this person comes to you talking, don't listen, and calling out these people's names. I'm not going to do that. You use your wisdom. If you want to believe people coming to you that's saying stuff to you about me, then I'll leave that up to you. That's what I'll do. Instead of, I don't want to leave my videos filled with me bringing another person down. My post where I'm talking about someone, my focus ain't on them. My focus is on me. So the moment I say I'm done with this person, I really be meaning that. I know they're dead weight if I carry them on. Like, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna end it. But you ever see like those images where the person's walking on the railroad tracks and they're obviously going from somewhere and they're leaving somewhere, and they've got this stick over their shoulder, and over their shoulder is a bandana tied to that stick, and inside that bandana is supposed to be their belongings, right? Those few things that they held in their possession, and then they're taking them to another place, right? Well, let's look at it like this. You don't even need what's in that bandana. You don't need, put it all down, because that's dead weight. Don't take those memories to the place where you're going. You don't need them. Where you're going, there is no room for anger, hostility, and pain. It's only room for growth, right? Positive thought, positive affirmations, and you creating this life that you want to live, that you can see, that you can imagine yourself living. If you can imagine it, you can create it. We are very powerful when we put our minds to something. So when you say, well, is it meant to be? And you're asking from a concept from the outside looking in, is it meant to be? Like, did the universe have a plan for me, or does this God in heaven have a plan for me? Is it meant to be? No, not M-E-A-N-T. Is it meant to be? M-E-N-T. Is it meant? Is it mentally? Can you within your mentality make this thing happen? Is it meant to, is it in your mental? And if it is, it's meant to be. It's meant, and only you can make it to be. To be or not to be? That is the question. Will it be or will it not be? Because if it's in your mental, if it doesn't be, you are the person in between the be and the mental. You are. So once the mental is there, you have to take place, and only then can it be. Mental, you manifesting, you working on the outward, you putting forth effort, only then can it be. Is it meant to be? You are the thing in between your meant and be. You are. Don't stand in the way. If you can mentally conceive it, you can likely mentally do it outside of anything that's ridiculously outside of this reality. Like if you can mentally see yourself flying, because we'll get people who just say stupid stuff. Well, what if I mentally can see me flying? Okay, well then you can create an airplane. But let's not be stupid. You're not going to take off flying like Neo, like a Superman, right? I'm talking about things within the realm of your reality. If you can see yourself building a business, who's to say you can't do it? Other people can do it. Why can't you? Maybe the person that you are today can't do it, but the goal is you won't always be the person that you are today, the persona that you represent today. 5 years from now, you will be a whole different persona. 4 years ago, my persona was a Christian, right? Substitute pastor, preaching for my pastor who was dead, right? Preaching every Sunday at church. Also the youth pastor, also a missionary. That was the persona that I embodied. Well, that is not that me anymore. I'm not that person anymore. So the you that you are today might not be capable of making it come to pass. But the key is you can change. You don't have to be who you are today. You can be a person who's fully capable of making your dreams come true. Say, do I plan on doing any more songs with Daylight? Absolutely. Why not? Shoot. All Daylight got to do is have the time, and I'm ready. Okay, family? That's it for today. We're going to talk more about this, though. All right? We're going to absolutely talk more about this. I love you all. Be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. And no candle loses its flame from lighting another. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, it is in that chaos that you have found yourself. I love you all, family. Peace. All right, let's see here. I'm getting logged off of Facebook now. Now, let's do YouTube. I love you all, family. Holla at me. Let me see here. How do I get off? Okay, we go. Peace, family.